Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. So if you have a question about what it is that you are doing on YouTube, there is a form in the description of this live stream right now where you can put your questions so that we can get it answered here on the show today. And I also want to mention as well that this stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy, the #1 tool for YouTube content creators. TubeBuddy will help you. TubeBuddy will help you optimize your videos for search. TubeBuddy will help you. It'll help you test your thumbnails to make sure that what you're doing there is effective. TubeBuddy will help you do like bulk updates to your channel if you need to video descriptions, things like that. It'll help you optimize your search engine optimization as well so that you can get better performance in search. 90 different tools is what they have that can help you with your YouTube channel. So because of that, make sure that you try TubeBuddy. You can try it free at tubebuddy.com/Nimmin, which is my last name, just to help you remember that. So tubebuddy.com/Nimmin. Check. There we go. Check. I just had a power flicker. So I had this thing with my interface to where when the power flickers, it basically everything just kind of goes kind of haywire. But anyway, this stream is powered by StreamYard, which is the live streaming platform that I use to stream this every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. The reason that I use it is because it's really easy to use. It allows me to bring in guests on the show in a really easy way, which is something that might happen today. I'm not sure. And in addition to that, they also host everything on the cloud. So even if your stream goes down locally, let's say your power goes out, your computer dies, everything just locks up, whatever, StreamYard will keep it open for you until you can get back to the stream, which is another really awesome feature that I've had to utilize a bunch. So you can try that out at StreamYard.com, or you can try that. Ooh, looks like we might be having, okay, we're back. We're good. Not stable now. Audio's flickering. We're having like all kinds of craziness going on here. Let me turn off all the audio stuff. Oh, maybe that's why. I turned that off. Can you hear me now? Okay. Anyway, it's back. Okay now. Good to go. Fantastic. But the next thing that I want to say, so you can try that out at StreamYard.com. Now, the next thing I want to say is Albie-tastic's hanging out in the chat here right now. My man here. He just crossed, I believe I saw on Twitter today that he just crossed his first 100 subscribers. So I just want to give him a high five and a fist bump for crossing the first 100 subscribers here on YouTube. Albie-tastic, make sure that when you get the chance, make sure that you grab your URL, so it's youtube.com/Albie-tastic. Make sure that you grab that so that you can go ahead and just secure it and, commit to that name for the long term. So I just want to congratulate you on that. Doing great. Nice to see you thriving here on YouTube. Now, if you are just joining us, here's what's going on. I'm answering YouTube related questions. So if you've got a question about YouTube, there's a form in the description below. Later in the stream, of course, we will definitely also be coming back in. Let's see here. We'll definitely be coming back in and answering them, directly out of the comment section as well. But, I do want to let you know that, right now I'm just taking them out of the form. So for those of you that got here early, go ahead and get your question in there. What is up, Paul Peck Drywall Tube? Nice to see you in here. Doug Hewson, YT. What's up, my man? Hope you're doing great. Brad Flying Potato. Hope that you're doing awesome. Mel's B and Ageless. Nice to see you in here as well. Hope everybody has had a great week. Urban Van Life, what's up, my dude? Hope you're doing great. Hope everybody had a great week. I know that there's a lot of excitement this past week around Vid Summit. I know that the people that went there had an amazing time, as they do every single year. It's an amazing conference. I haven't had a chance because they had a little bit of difficulty with the stream going out. But I haven't had a chance yet to watch the replays. But starting tomorrow, I'm going to be going in and digging in, to the replays and all that stuff, just so I can, be up to date on the information that was shared there as well, in case there's any good gems that I can share with you guys, from watching that. So those are available. I always have a link to the Vid Summit replays down in the description of this live stream for every single live stream that I do. So if you are interested in that, of course, you can check them out there. So what we're going to do is we are going to get into the very first question. We're going to go ahead and get this party started. And I'd like to encourage you as well. If you have not yet, go ahead and share this out on Twitter, share this out on Instagram via a story, share this out on Facebook, anywhere that you have a YouTuber friend that you think could get value from this live stream. Go ahead and share this out to them right now. That would be fantastic. So the very first question that we have comes from RR Primetime KD, says that they upload when they have time. And one thing that I just noticed, there's one thing that I forgot to do here before the stream. Let me get that open as well. I'm like sliding in here last minute, just like sliding into home plate, getting this thing all started. I was actually hanging out with my girlfriend, and we're just chilling. I'm like, I got to stream in like 30 minutes. So here we are. Here we are doing that. So let's see here. That should turn everything on. Let me make sure all these work too. And they do. Fantastic. The thing should take over from here. And it did. Okay. So the very first question that we have today is from RR Primetime KD. RR Primetime KD says they do mobile reaction and gaming content. The goal of the channel is to have 100 subscribers by the end of the year. Again, high five to Albie-tastic for crossing the first 100 subscribers on his channel this week. And the question is, you can answer this in either YouTube facts or in your opinion, but is it better to have my face in my thumbnails or is it not? My second question is, what are your best tips for editing videos? My third question is 3 best ways to start off my video after my intro. So we're going to start with the first one. So, and since, these come in the order that they're received, we're going to start with that one, and then we're moving on to the next one. So basically for your question in terms of, is it better to have your face in your thumbnails or not? I'm going to tell you how to find the facts for that. And I'm going to give you my proven, my experience on this. So when it comes to putting your face in thumbnails, how many people here, just give me a me if you put your face in your thumbnails right now, and give me a no if you do not, just to kind of see, where we're at here. But basically, when it comes to putting your face in your thumbnails, one of the things that that is important to remember is that the face isn't always the focus of the video itself. The face isn't always the subject. The person isn't always the subject. So because of that, it's important to make sure that you're thinking that, does your face help the people that you're trying to reach identify that your content might be something that they're interested in? Probably not, unless you have a sizable channel. You've already grown, a following of some kind. Then in that case, it probably doesn't. So because of that, what I encourage you to do is I encourage you to, try to, focus, of course, on the thing that would actually matter the most to the viewer. Now, there have been studies done that say that faces do get clicked on more. However, with those particular studies, they were on high volume YouTube channels, which means that those channels are people that already had followings, that kind of stuff. So because of that, I know most of the people here are getting started. You want to make sure that you're actually testing it. And how do you test it? So what you want to do is you want to have a sample of thumbnails that have your face on them, a sample of thumbnails that do not. Let's say you do 5 videos that do, or 2 or 3 videos that do, and 2 or 3 videos that don't. The more that you do, the better for this comparison. And then what you do is you load those videos into the grouping feature inside of your YouTube analytics. Once you do that, then you are going to be able to compare the click-through rate on those as a group, as well as look at them individually right next to each other. So you can test them that way. That's one. The second way that you can test it, of course, is by using TubeBuddy's A/B testing tool. When you use TubeBuddy's A/B testing tool, what that's going to do is their system is going to change the thumbnails out for you. When their system is changing the thumbnails out for you, after the date range that you selected is complete, then what's going to happen is they're going to give you a report. That report is going to tell you the specific traffic sources in terms of, search, home pages, suggested videos, like where your thumbnails perform the best and where they perform the worst. They're also going to show you the average view duration that you got from people clicking on the different thumbnails as well, because your thumbnails and titles do create an expectation for your content as people are coming into it. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. Or that you're paying attention to that. But they show you those things and a bunch of other, engagement things as well that are important to YouTube. So that's another way that you can do it. And then, of course, you can also do it in a way to where, hey, what's up, Roland? You can also do it in a way to where you swap them out yourself. So when you swap them out yourself, you can see, they'll show you the wide view in terms of, the click-through rate, in general on your on the thumbnail once you swapped it out. And you can swap it out, check your click-through rate on your, because they update that in real time. Swap it out, see how many impressions that you're getting, check your click-through rate on that, swap it back. But the only problem with doing it that way is one, you have to make sure that you're doing it like clockwork. Two is that you have to track a bunch of things. Three is that they're not like, it's going to be much more difficult for you to pull the information like rapidly about where it's performing the best. So because of that, I recommend that you use TubeBuddy for it, but of course you can absolutely do it on your own. But the idea is, and this is the reference that I always give, but the idea is if you are putting a piece of content out there and you are going to run, like a test or, something like that, the idea is to just make sure that over time that you learn what your audience responds to the most, and that you face or no face, and that you also make sure that at the very, the most important, the highest level, that you make sure that whatever it is that you're doing is going to be the thing that is going to help viewers identify that your content's for them. So the example that I like to give that I was leading into before is if you make baseball content, then you don't necessarily want to have your face in the thumbnail, because if people don't know you, then you're obscuring what your video is actually about, which is baseball. So for people that are baseball fans, they're going to be less likely to click on you compared to if you had imagery related to baseball on it. Because then if you have imagery related to baseball, YouTube is showing them a bunch of things, letting them choose based on what YouTube is predicting that they're going to be the most likely to respond to at that point in time. Some of that, if they're a baseball player, might be baseball related content. So the best thing that you can do is help them identify that your content is also about baseball, even if you're just talking about baseball, if you're not on the field, if you're just talking about the players, but they're not actually in the video, that type of thing, just making sure that you're helping the person that you're trying to reach identify that the content you're making is for them, that it's based around things that they are interested in. So when it comes to your thumbnails and putting faces in them, those are the things that you want to, think about. So hopefully that was helpful.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right. So let's see here. Next up on our list, we have Super Cooper Hobbies. Super like flowy channel name there. Says they do hobbies, book reviews, and brick films. And the goal of the channel says, I want to eventually get monetized. The question, how good are shorts for discovery? Fantastic. I recently ran across the idea as using them for previews / trailers. So shorts for discovery are fine if you're making actual content with the shorts, right? If you're using them as like an advertisement to try to get people to click through and participate in your content, the road that you're going to walk there might be a little bit difficult because, when people are in the short shelf, they're sweeping through, they're wanting to watch content. They're not wanting to watch a trailer. They're not wanting to watch an ad for like a longer form piece of content that you're wanting to put out. They're on the short shelf because they're consuming that type of content in that moment. So you want to give them what it is that they're in there for. Give them that, put a call to action for them to follow you at the end of it or subscribe, follow if you're multi-purposing. But basically what you want to do is you want to publish your short, make sure that you have a call to action at the end for them to subscribe or follow you, and give them actual real content. Great question though. So next up on our list here, we have Pieces to Props. What's up, man? Hope that you're doing fantastic today. And the type of channel says they make props from popular movies and anime out of EVA foam and to show people how to make it their own. And the goal of the channel says, honestly, still trying to figure out whether it's having people watch me or to make money. Not sure yet. Okay. So the question says, hey, Nick, what's up, man? Hope you're doing great. Says, so I have an idea for another video series, but I don't know how far apart that I should release it with my normal videos so the performance does not step on each other. For example, my normal video is about how to make a Venom mask. My next video should be my thought process behind how I came up with the how to make it and a little explanation of the character, etc. Should I wait a day or two or more after the release of the first video or just do it bi-weekly? Thanks for the advice and sorry if my question's confusing. So basically what I'm pulling from this, and in the chat, correct me if I'm getting this wrong. But basically what I'm pulling from this is you're wanting to put out a piece of content, letting people know how to make a Venom mask out of EVA foam. Terrestrial Vibes, what's up, man? Hope you're doing awesome. So basically when you are putting out that piece of content, then you also have to think about, okay, if I make this, then of course the people that interact with this, some of those people would like to see, my thought process and things like that. So because of that, one thing that I would first off just make sure that you do is when you do publish that second video of your thought process and all that, one thing that I would do is I would make sure that you link it up inside of the main video that you made on actually making the mask. Hey, check out the behind the scenes of this, something like that. Link in your end screen, link it in a card, link it down in the description, or not the description, but the pinned comments as well, just so you can make sure that you're driving people into that piece of content. But one thing to think about is if you're going to continuously upload content like, every other day, or, 2 videos like a day or 2 apart, then in that case, go ahead and do that. But if you don't do that and you only upload one time, every 2 weeks, then I would just upload that one time every 2 weeks. And I wouldn't force that piece of content out just for the sake of chasing that other video. And by doing that, you're going to let that video breathe. You're going to let that video, get its own, data in terms of who's interacting with that. And when you are publishing that next one, the likelihood of them seeing that is definitely going to be higher. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're being very intentional about how you're doing all the metadata in that particular video as well. Because like one is like, hey, we're making it. The next one is like, this is my thought process behind it. But if they interact with that piece of content in your channel and you have your thought process behind it, then in that particular case, as long as the people enjoyed that first video, if YouTube shows them that second piece of content, as long as they start enjoying it, then hopefully through you linking them, back and forth and all of that, then hopefully YouTube will start suggesting them next to each other. That would be the goal that you would be trying to accomplish when you're publishing those pieces of content. But I personally, I would just make sure that you just keep it in alignment with your current upload schedule. Next, Shark Scrapper. What's up, man? Hope you're doing awesome. Says, let's see here. Says, they upload one time per week. They do edutainment content, the goal of the channels to help people better understand scrapping and recycling while promoting my business and making some moolah. Switch in the background there. There we go. What's this one? What's CD? Okay, there we go. Okay. So let's see here. So the question is, in the first 12 to 24 hours after posting my video, CTR is usually in the 8% range, but then drops off by my long-term average is around 4.5. I interrupt this as my primary audience clicking on I interpret this on my video because they know me, but as YouTube tests my video against newer viewers over time, the CTR drops off. Am I on track or is there something else to this? Yeah. So when you first publish a video, what typically happens according to YouTube is that content goes out. Smoking Joe, what's up, man? Is that your content goes out to the people that are most likely to engage in that content at that point in time. That would be people that are on the platform at that moment. And then of course, as people are coming in, you have that new piece of content. So YouTube is testing it against all the people right out of the gate that are already interacting with your channel, that already like what you do, that are already, participating, so to speak, in your content, and people that watch content that is similar to that based on the topic itself, YouTube thinks the topic and how people are interacting with it, where YouTube thinks that, other people might enjoy it at a high rate. And because those people, when you first publish the video, are the people that are the most likely to engage in it, we all get that initial spike, right? And then from there, it might taper off. In most cases, it does. And then once it tapers off, then that's where you'll see down the road, then it'll either, just kind of continually bring in a very consistent amount of views if it's a decent video, or if it's a very high performing video in terms of how much people enjoyed it, then you can see it go down and then it can come back up on the back end and then raise to, higher daily numbers from there. So in terms of your idea of like what's going on, you are definitely on track. But in terms of that drop that you're seeing, another thing to make sure that you're thinking about is when that drop happens, right? And you notice like people aren't responding to it, YouTube and your analytics, they allow you to sort by date range. So what you want to do, I'll finish telling you this before I tell you something else. But what you want to make sure that you do is basically once it, the traffic goes down on it, go into your analytics, sort down to, the most recent date range, let's say over the last, like 3 days, and look and see what type of response that you're getting in terms of your click-through rate, because that was the thing that you referenced here, in terms of your click-through rate and your watch time from browse, from suggested, from search, and start noticing, okay, once we're at this part in the life cycle, what does my click-through rate based on the impressions that I'm getting and my watch time look like coming from the specific traffic sources? And if it's low based on what your averages are, then in that case, you can go through and, start changing things up, start trying to repackage from the outside or testing your thumbnails or something like that, seeing if you can, bring the overall performance of that video up a little bit from the packaging. But of course, the content itself is going to carry, the most weight. But, if you do notice that your click-through rate takes a dive, like you mentioned here, then in that case, you might want to consider going in there, a little bit, after you've published it and dropping another thumbnail in there. What's up, Beanie? Hope you're doing great, man. Hope you're doing fantastic today. So let's see here. Next up says, I'll pin this one up here too. So next up here on our list, we've got, it's Sam. It's Sam says they do gotcha content. The goal is to improve. The question, I have no motivation to make videos, so how do I get motivation? Look, here's the thing. Motivation comes within yourself. However, if you are stuck, one thing that you can do is you can go and just start watching like motivational content, things like that, like a handful of Evan Carmichael's videos. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. If you're not, check out Evan Carmichael on YouTube. He has just an entire YouTube channel of like motivational, inspirational content. And if you're in a rut and you're like, you know what, I'm just not fired up to do this, go watch a bunch of his videos. By the time you're done with that, you'll probably be fired up to do something. You'll probably be like super excited to, turn your camera and make videos. But at the end of the day, if you have to constantly motivate yourself to make content, then you might want to think about, okay, how much do I actually want to do this? Because there's the side to where it's like, hey, I want to do this. I'm passionate about it, to where you say that, right? Like we can all say everything, right? Like I can be like, hey, I can tell you right now, I love playing basketball. I love going out there and just kind of sweating it out and getting that energy out. I just love, just trying to figure out, the right places where I can get, like the best shots or, like whatever. But at the end of the day, if I'm not out there playing basketball, then I'm not as passionate about it as I might think that I am. So the same exact thing comes to when you're making content. Like if you are not motivated, if you're just like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it, then maybe you're making the wrong type of content. Maybe you are just being too hard on yourself in terms of the immediate results that are coming in. So like if you're just starting your channel, maybe you're expecting numbers up here, but because your numbers might be down here right now, then that is kind of hurting you in terms of like, oh man, like why am I even doing this? Like that type of thing. So because of that, you have to push yourself through it if it's something that you're really wanting to do, if it's something that you're really passionate about. But, at the end of the day, be kind to yourself and make sure that you are doing the things that you want to do. Because if you really enjoy it, it shouldn't be something that you have to make yourself do. Right. So just consider that. Let's see here. So Fire Wine says, hey, Nick, do I need to create an LLC for my channel when it gets monetized? You don't have to. Of course, you can always roll with like an LLC, or I'm sorry, like a sole proprietorship or something if you want. However, there are advantages of creating an LLC in terms of taxes, things like that. So I recommend that you do, but you don't have to. What I would do, because I guess I have to say the disclaimer of that, it's not legal advice, blah, blah. But what I do recommend that you do is that you talk to a lawyer, tell them about your YouTube channel, tell them that you're monetized. It's definitely, going to, increase the amount of, money that you're earning if you're in the partner program. So because of that, there are tax liabilities because of it. So, you definitely want to make sure that you are handling that in a way that is going to make sure that you're not getting, not getting in trouble. I don't think trouble's the right way, but so that you don't end up getting a tax bill or, other legal things that you could have, given yourself a break for. But on the other side of that, just as a heads up, you are definitely going to be making more money because, whatever your job is, plus the ad revenue that you're going to be putting on top of it. But it's also important to know that, once you do start buying cameras and computers, things like that, like you can write some of that stuff off and reduce the amount of taxable income. So again, this isn't, like financial or legal advice. However, just some things to make sure that you are aware of. Chantel Hills, what's up? Hope you're doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. Walter's World, what's up, man? Hope you're doing great. So next up that we have on the list here, the next question on our list is from Arc3 Gaming. Arc3 Gaming says that they do gaming content. Who knew? Arc3 gaming content. So what's the goal of the channel? To help out casual gamers with their problems and to express my creativity. Question. I've been covering mobile games for a while now, and as a gaming channel, would it be all right to branch out with PC games or console games, or do I just stick with mobile gaming? So here's the thing. All of us, as our YouTube channels evolve, all of us, we run into things like this, right? To where it's like, hey, I'm doing this. I would like to also do this. And what I recommend that you do is that you test some of that, console content or, PC content on your channel and just see how people respond to it. Because, there's a lot of people that play games on their phone that also play games on a PC or on a computer. Myself, as an example, I play on a computer, I play on a PC, and I'll mess around on my phone too. So there's a lot of people like that. So because of that, stepping into that other, like computers or into the consoles, when you do that, that might broaden your audience a little bit. Or if they just don't respond to it, then it could put you in a situation where you're like, oh, great, they're not responding to this. So I got to keep defaulting back to this mobile content while I'm publishing some of that other content, but just knowing it's not going to perform that great right now. But so over time, I'll be able to build the audience for that content. Let's see here. Next up on our list, we have Ada Lorandas says they upload when they have time. The type of channel is I talk about studies and productivity without losing your mental health. It's good. I want to make money with YouTube. This is my biggest goal now, is the goal of the channel. And the question is, my channel started growing when I started talking about MBTI personality and studies. I'm afraid that after I'm done with all personalities, my channel will flop or something like that. Should I incorporate more MBTI into my channel or stick with my original idea and only talk about studies? So if you are talking about studies and productivity without losing your mental health, studies and productivity, they kind of go hand in hand, because if you're not being productive, then you're not studying efficiently. So I think both of those are fine for your content. And also if you're helping people with studying and you're helping them with productivity, but you put the mental health twist on it, that's fantastic, because then you help people stay stable as they're going through school. So I think it's a win with what it is that you're doing. And what I would do in your case is I would experiment with, continuing to put that content out. And I also want you to know that when you are publishing content, because you're like, yeah, after I'm done with all these personalities, when you're publishing content, not everybody's going to see every video that you're publishing. So because of that, just keep in mind that, down the road, you can also talk about those personalities again. You can repackage them in a bunch of different ways. Look at my channel for inspiration on how to do this. But basically you can kind of repackage, the same ideas in a bunch of different ways, because the beauty of doing that is that, one, you make sure that you're putting out content that your audience responds to, but two, you also start learning how to say things in a bunch of different ways so that a bunch of different people will be able to fully, take in what you are saying. Because, if you say something one way, then, these groups of people will get it. If you say something another way, then it'll resonate a lot more with, these people over here. So because of that, it just gives you the opportunity to, just resonate with more people through the same concepts. Martin Hewlett's Calming Anxiety says, thanks, Nick. I passed 1,000 subscribers today. Now to grow the hours as I build my online brand and network the app. Cannot thank you enough. High five and fist bump to you, Martin, for now crossing the 1,000 subscriber milestone. Love seeing that. Love seeing it, especially with your type of content. Right. Cause you're out there, like, putting like really good, like you're putting good out there. So love seeing that, especially with your type of content. Hey, what's up, man? What's up from Within Gaming? Hope you're doing well. Let's see here. What's up, Jacqueline B? Hope that you are also doing fantastic today. Let's see here. So anybody started using LUTs? Did you like the way that it made your videos look, or any audience response to it? So I know Vigard, I don't know if he's in here right now, but he edits a lot of my content, most of it. And I know he uses LUTs for a lot of the stuff that he does. He actually has a website where he sells LUTs as well. But, LUTs are very common on YouTube. A lot of people use them just because not only, just as a heads up, you may or may not know this, but in addition to being able to use LUTs in all of the video editing software, you can also use LUTs for live streaming. So depending on what software it is that you're using for your live streams, you can also apply LUTs to that. So if you are in the situation to where you are in like a controlled environment all the time, and let's say that, like I am right now, right? This is like a fully controlled environment. Doesn't matter where I shoot videos. It doesn't matter where, things look, pretty much the same. So if you're in an environment like that, a cool thing with the LUTs is that, if you do start live streaming, is that you can make sure that the LUTs match the look, or not the LUTs, but your videos can also match the look of your live streams to give your live streams like a nice, cool, a nice, cool vibe as well. Let's see here. Tiny Orchard Quilt says, congrats. 1,000, such an accomplishment. As a matter of fact, what else is such an accomplishment is Tiny Orchard Quilts also, high five and fist bump to you, crossed 30,000 subscribers here over the last couple of days. So congratulations to you for that. Nice work. So yeah, so some good milestones coming in today. Looking good, looking good. And Hector here passed 140. Nice work. Nice work. Doing great. Off to a good start. Okay, so LUTs are lookup tables. It stands for lookup tables. The S might stand for something else, but it's a LUT. But it's called a lookup table. And basically what they are is they're color profiles that you can, like, you can dial in the color profile, and this is going to be the non-technical explanation because I don't really know the technical side, but basically what you do is you design your LUT, right? And it's like a look, it's a color profile. So what it would be is like, let's say that you took the image that you're looking at right now of me on screen. If you were to add some contrast to it, maybe let's say you take down the contrast a little bit, you kind of bring the whites up a little bit, crush the darks down, just a little. Let's say you put like a little, vignette or something like that around here. Actually, I don't think the vignette would carry over, but that contrast, the saturation, let's say that you bumped up a little bit on the blue side, down a little bit on the green side. Then what would happen is you can export that color profile and then you can start applying it to all of your videos. And one of the things that you'll see with a lot of the cinematic channels, like the cinematic vloggers and the people that talk about filmmaking, is part of their branding for a lot of them, like their look, like how they actually treat the videos in terms of the LUTs they apply or just how they color grade their content. The look of their content is a part of their brand in a lot of cases. So they can be used in a bunch of different ways. Lawless Baron, let's see here. I see your notification here, but I don't see what you mentioned. Says messages. This is it right here. Message retracted. So yeah, I just scrolled up to see the message. That's why I can't see it over here. But I don't see it. I don't see it there now. So let me scroll back down here to the bottom. Let's see here. From Within Gaming says, what's the most professional mic position for a gaming streamer? So in terms of most professional, what you got to think about more than anything is it's not necessarily like where exactly the mic is as much as it is how it sounds, right? Like when it comes to where the mic is, what you want to think of is like if you're going to be like really loud and things like that, then you want to make sure that you're just being conscious of where the microphone is. So like, for example, if you were to like scream like, oh, I can't believe that happened, you want to make sure that you kind of jump back a little bit before you do that so you don't blow the ears out, of the people that are hanging out with you on your stream. If you are streaming, you also don't want to put it like right here like this, right? Because a lot of people will do that. But then when you are talking, my Rodecaster here compensates for some of this a little bit. But when you say things with like pop, like the word P, then what happens is it's called a plosive. And what happens is all that air goes right into your microphone and it just creates like it kind of distorts things. So what you want to do, it's best practice in podcasting and, doing things like this with the live stream that you have your mic, but you have it off to the side a little bit. So you're kind of talking past it. Right. So then that way, when you do say those P's and things like that, your audio is still being picked up great, but those things are going past the microphone instead of blowing right into it. So that's what I'd recommend to you. Now, there's other options too. Some people, depending on their setup, some people, they won't have a mic like this. They'll have like a shotgun microphone, and that shotgun microphone will be out of frame. Nobody will even see it, but the audio will sound great just because they have it just out of frame. They're running it through an interface, going right into the computer. So the signal is, nice and strong. What you want to think about is that you want to make sure that the microphone is close to you somewhere. So for example, if you're gaming and your webcam is like way over here, you don't want to put your microphone, over here by your webcam. You want your microphone to be over here close by you, right? Either on a table or, just out of frame, on top. So like, for example, if I had it here, then I would put it right here. And by doing that, then it gets it out of frame, but then it's close enough to you to where it still makes your audio sound good. That's the idea. Let's see here. Leandro Luis Ganato. Hope I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if not.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure next time you get the chance, go to nimminvip.com. That's going to redirect you to the members only Facebook group. Make sure you fill out all the information on the way in because that's how I verify that you are a member on the way in there. But it's right here on the screen, nimminvip.com. That's going to redirect you over there. So next up on the list here, we have, let's see here. We got that. Okay, we got that one taken care of too. So next we are going to go into, let's see here. Go into this, make sure I got those. Oh, okay. Yep. Here we go. So there are some more that I missed here, and let me go ahead and get these taken care of. So Tom Gillard says, speaking of motivation, it's hard to deal with a video getting minimal views, especially when you're really proud of it. Have had a few in a row lately. It can be hard. And, like when things are going great on a channel, you can feel awesome. It's like, oh, great. Everything I put out is awesome. It's, all the content I put out is gold. People are loving it. And then when you have videos that bomb, then your brain, you're like, uh-oh, is it broken? Did I like screw something up? Are people not responding anymore? Like, like what's going on? And you start having like all of these intrusive thoughts coming in about your YouTube channel. And the best thing that you can do is not directly attach your mind state to the performance of your YouTube videos. And I know that's easier said than done, but just because of the thing that you're saying right here, all the work and effort that you put into it. So, what you want to do is just try to just say, I did everything I could for this piece of content. I made the video the best that I could do right now at this point in time with the things that I know. I optimized this video in the best way that I possibly could, at this point in time, based on the things that I know. I made my thumbnail the best that I possibly could at this point in time, based on the things that I know. And from there, like I did everything that I could to make this awesome. If people respond to it, awesome. If they don't, then that's okay. I need to go in. I need to, dig into the analytics of this video and try to figure out why, right? So that when I make another video, then based on the new knowledge that I have, based on how people responded to this video, I can start doing things a little bit differently or start experimenting with different things in order to see if I can get people to respond better. But absolutely, like, like when videos don't perform well, it sucks, right? We all go through it. It sucks. I've got 800,000 subscribers on my channel, and I've got a video that I published a few months ago that just all the way around, it just sucked in terms of, how you guys responded to it. And it doesn't matter what I do to the thumbnail, like the content itself just didn't get a great response, and the topic also didn't get a great response. So that particular video, it's got I don't even think it's hit 6,000 subscribers yet, and I've put like 10 different thumbnails in there. I've changed the titles up, and all that stuff. So I'm just kind of letting it sit. I've re-optimized everything just recently, actually. I'm just kind of letting it sit right now, hoping that it'll pick up in the future because that type of content typically does. However, it sucked. Right. When I published it, I'm like, really? This is how they're responding to this? Really? Like, like nobody's like enjoying. Are you kidding me? But it's part of the thing. And of course, what you want to do in situations like that is you don't want to give yourself a hard time. You want to actually just look at it and try to analyze, not just in the numbers, right? Because the numbers are the reflection of how people are responding to what you're doing. So when you look at the numbers, it's important to see it and be like, okay, this is my click-through rate. This is my, retention on this. This is where people were dropping off in this video. This is how many people were sharing it, those types of things. But what you want to think about is like, okay, this is what the numbers say in terms of how people reacted, but why? Why do I think people didn't share that one as much? Why do I think people, didn't click on this as much? Why did this topic not resonate as much with, with everybody like I thought that it would? And, you want to start unpacking things in that way so that you can learn from those poor performing videos in order to turn it around in future content to have higher performing videos. Let's see here. So next up on our list here, and we'll jump right back into the forum right here in a second. Smoking Joe's Pit Barbecue says, I just crossed 80,000 subscribers this morning using a ton of Nick's recommendations from the banner to thumbnails and pinned comments. Take notes. High five and fist bump to you. Smoking Joe's Pit Barbecue, congratulations on 80,000 subscribers. You are going to be super pumped to get that play button. It's always an awesome thing to see, like sitting back on your shelf is the play button. So congratulations to you on 80,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. So this graphic right here, so this should be playing smooth, but the file's so big that laptop that I'm using over there for this, it's like jittering like this. So I was like, hey, I'm not going to do it, but hey, you just crossed 80,000 subscribers, so I'm going to let it play anyway. Oh, and we're even going to add like a, let's see, what else can we add to this while that's playing there in the background? Okay, that's not going to work either. So yeah, so that was that. All right. So, but yeah, congratulations to you, Smoking Joe's Pit Barbecue, Joe. For crushing it on 80,000 subscribers and for the kind words as well. So let's see here. So next question on our list. Let's go ahead and pull one out of the chat here. So if you got a question, just go ahead and put a Q in front of your question and just go ahead and drop it right here in the chat right now. And we'll see about answering a question. So of course it's got to have a Q in front of it, so I know it's for me. And then we will go from there. Paul Peck Drywall Tube says, Nick, I got 1 million views in September. I feel like doing shorts has brought a lot of new viewers to my channel, and they've watched more than just shorts. First off, high five and fist bump to you for 1 million views in September. Like, that's doing great. Just a heads up, man. Like, we are getting ready to go into like the highest viewing time on YouTube here over the next few months. So it's probably going to get even better. So just embrace that and be mindful about all the stuff that you're putting out right now. So you can just keep repeating that here for the next few months to fully take advantage of this higher time that we're sliding into. So just in case, because I know a lot of people here are new. So for those of you that are new, right now we're getting into peak viewership time. Q4 is usually peak viewership time on YouTube. In addition to that, we also have, our ad rates typically go up as well our CPMs, and that reflects as well on our RPMs. But because of that, like right now, if you were ever going to be serious about YouTube over the next 3 months, technically 4, but over the next 3 months would be the time to start being as serious as you can possibly be, because right now is the time where the viewership on YouTube, starts to go up. So I just wanted to give you the heads up on that too. So nice work, Paul. So Shark Scrapper says, Nick, your video, is YouTube still worth it? Was awesome. Everyone should watch it. Thank you for the kind words on that video. I agree that everybody should watch it. Share it with a friend. Share it with a YouTube buddy. Drop it in the chat. Well, actually, you guys can't drop it in the chat here, but yeah, share it with a YouTube friend. Anybody here that's watched that video that enjoyed it, share it to YouTube or tweet it out. Let people know, about the video. If you got value out of it, then hopefully, a YouTuber friend will as well. So let's see here. So the very first question that we're going to pull out of the chat today is, let me go up here to Shark Scrapper's comment. We're going to go down. Oh, we actually have one more here from Lunar Sleep Sounds. Says, hey, Nick, as a sleep music channel, all my peers use image-only thumbnails. Do you suggest going with the flow or break out of the mold? So go with the flow at first if they've figured it out in terms of, how to get people respond. Like if the people that are getting a lot of the views are doing a certain thing, then typically that's a really good indicator that that thing works for the audience that you're trying to reach, right? But what you want to do within that is you want to say, this is what everybody's doing. Is there a way that I can do this in a unique way that will help people, one, identify that this content is mine, and two, is there anything that I can do here that would, be along a similar idea, but just different enough to where, it would help me stand out from everybody else. So that would be the approach that you want to take. Of course, you can do small things like, adding like your logo down on the corner and stuff like that. But if you do something like that, you want to make sure it's not intrusive. Things like that are typically better done with like a style or something like that. But if they just use images, and that's working for them, for the people that are getting a lot of the traffic for that type of content, then they figured it out, right? They've been doing it for a while. They've grown their channels, by learning how to get people to respond to it. So because of that, if that's working for them, I would definitely, use that as inspiration for what it is that you're doing. But of course, try to figure out if it means something simple, like let's say, for example, your scenery, if you have, like a sleep sound. Let's say for example, if you have like a forest at night, right, as like your thumbnail. If there's a bunch of people that also have a forest at night in their thumbnail, you might want to try something like, cutting out the tree that's in the middle and then putting a little bit of a drop shadow behind it, so it kind of brings that tree to the front a little bit. And then, experiment with doing that on like a handful of different thumbnails, right? To where you just find something, maybe it's a glow from behind this tree or something, but something like that to help you stand out, to where you're using the same idea, but you're doing something a little bit different, so that if somebody clicks on your stuff and they watch it and they enjoy it, then the next time they're looking for that type of stuff, if you show up in search, or if it gets recommended to them on a homepage, then in that case, they can be like, oh, wait a minute, that kind of looks like, this with this leaf cut out with the glowing going on behind it. That kind of looks like that tree one that I watched before with the glowing coming behind it. So let me click on this one and go to sleep. So, so just some things to think about there when it comes to, kind of, integrating the two together instead of just going one way or the other. So, it's funny. So I had a conversation with somebody on, I think it was Facebook. They were in a Facebook group, and they're like, yeah, they called me out specifically. They're like, yeah, Nick Nimmin, he always talks about, he always talks about channels, but doesn't actually give like any like real information that like actually, can help people understand what they need to do. And I was watching that, or not watching it, but I saw it, and I went in there and, I told them specifically like, hey, on your channel, look for these things, or at least somebody that was in the comments. But the funny thing is like, they clearly have not been on one of these live streams, right? Like in these live streams, like this is where I'll unpack, a lot of the, ideas and stuff, and some of the things that might be a little bit vague in the videos. So the first thing I thought is like, yeah, they must not be hanging out in the live streams very often. So anyway, let's get back on track here. Got a little derailed there. So let's see here. So Ethan says, what should my YouTube banner actually include? We'll go into a lightning round for this one really quick to go through a handful of these. So your YouTube banner should include a value proposition that essentially lets, or a value statement that lets people know, like, this is what this is about, right? Or this is what I'm offering you. This is a value that you get from my channel. And then of course have like a channel name or something like that on there somewhere as well. Let's see here. Hey, Nick, any tips for keeping live streams public or unlisted? So when it comes to keeping your live streams public or unlisted, I recommend that you experiment with it. And the reason that I recommend that you experiment with it is because you might find that like your live streams are getting heavy promotion. And when you publish a video, your live streams end up taking, you know, some of the, did we just lock up? We did. There we go. That your live streams end up, you know, taking up some of that, you know, new content promotion. So one thing I'm actually experimenting with right now on my YouTube channel as well is I'm experimenting with keeping them live until my next publish. And then right before I publish the next video, I actually unlist it. And I'm trying that out for the next 30 to 90 days. And then I can report back actually and let you know, any benefits or, you know, drawbacks of it. But I'm experimenting with that right now as well, because when YouTube is suggesting my stuff out there, I want it to be my best stuff. And even though the live streams are, in my opinion, the best out of the information that is provided here, the video content creates a better first impression, right? So because people aren't getting all the, you know, like 5 minutes of stuff where I'm like shouting people out and mentioning sponsors and telling people what's going on and you like all of that stuff. So because of that initial experience that new viewers might get with the live streams, I don't want them to have that. I would rather YouTube suggest them, you know, a piece of my video content if it thinks that person would enjoy what it is that I'm doing. So let's see here. Next up on the list is, so if you, I got to hit this after actually, hold on. There we go. So if you gain a lot of traction, most of your subs from a single video, but you change direction in your content, what should you do? If it was me, I would build up that other content in terms of, you know, making sure that I have, you know, a decent amount of videos on my channel that are the new direction that I'm wanting to go to. And I would see, you know, how people respond to it. And then if you find that people just aren't getting a great response from that, and you're growing your channel from content that the people aren't going to respond to that new stuff, then in that case, I would unlist. I wouldn't delete it. I would make it private. I would unlist the content that is pulling the people into the channel so that you can, you know, be making content that is going in the direction of the community that you're actually wanting versus the one that you are growing, but not really wanting to grow. Let's see here. What would be a good way to approach making gaming videos? Tips. So a good way to approach making gaming videos is go see the gaming videos that do well, right? Go look around YouTube and don't look at like the biggest channels, like look at them too, because, you know, they're kind of setting a standard, but look at the biggest channels, but also look at the people that are smaller that are getting traction. So one of the things that YouTube does, if you look under their trending area, is they also have, or the browse area, they also now, they've had it for a long time, but they have a creator on the rise area, and they feature gamers in there all the time. And there'll be gamers with like, you know, 4,000 subscribers or 10,000 subscribers, you know, things like that. So go and look and see what they're doing, because, you know, they're picking up momentum and YouTube is detecting it, and therefore it's putting them on the creators on the rise. So what you want to do is you want to go there and you want to be like, hey, what are they doing? Why are they, you know, growing, you know, at a pace that YouTube is putting them on the creator on the rise, and start trying to, you know, reverse engineer what it is that they're doing when it comes to structuring your videos, the things that you're making your videos about, you know, that whole nine. Sin in the house.
Super chat.
Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Brian G. Johnson, where he is it? I'm not sure where Brian G. Johnson is, but if he's in the chat right now, what is up, Brian G, my man? Hope that you're doing fantastic, but I don't know if he is awake yet as of right now. Let's see here. So why is YouTube running ads on my channel of only 500 subs? Because it's their platform. So even though you are not monetized, they still run ads on your videos. This is something they started doing a handful of months ago. And basically, if you have no subscribers, but you have a video up, then YouTube can run ads on your videos. So that's why you want to hurry up and get to the partner program. Once you're in the partner program, then you can go and you can decide, these are the ads that I want to put on my videos. These are the videos that I don't want to monetize. These are the videos that I do. So, so hurry up and get into the partner program, and then you'll have full control over that. For now. They might change it in the future, but for now, that's how it's going down. Okay, so next up on our list, let's see here. See LD and Home says, happy
Super
Saturday.
chat.
Trying to track analytics. Some areas say not enough data. How many views and interaction does YouTube usually need to give data? They should give you the data after your videos, like everything. You should have everything after your videos have been online for 3 days. You should have everything. Enough information to, to start pulling some, real data from. You should have everything within that 3-day period. In terms of the actual numbers, like as long as your video has been online and as long as people have interacted with it, then YouTube will start giving you, that information, like regardless. Like if it was 10 people that watched your video, then you'll have data on 10 people. Some things that might not be clear is, let's say that you didn't have anybody like the video, then of course there wouldn't be, that would still be at 0. There wouldn't be any like real information on that. Let's see here. Kooky Bake
Super chat.
says, one of my videos has over 7,000 views, but the other's under 100. How do I know what I'm doing wrong? I have 75 subscribers. So instead of looking at what it is that you're doing wrong, you need to look at what it is that you did right. So what you want to do, and this is hard, right? But this is what you need to do. So what you want to do is you want to go into the video that has 7,000 views. First thing that you want to do is you want to look at what's behind those 7,000 views. And when I say what's behind it, what you want to look at, you want to look at the impressions that you got. An impression is when YouTube shows your content to somebody on the platform. If your videos are things that people respond to, it's content that people respond to, then YouTube is going to give you more impressions, which means they're going to show your content to more people on the platform. So you want to look at how many impressions it's gotten. You want to look at the click-through rate from the different traffic sources. So if you go into your YouTube analytics, you don't want to look at the upside down triangle that's there that gives you like an averaged out version of your click-through rate. You want to click into the see more under traffic sources on that same page. And then you want to look and you want to say, okay, suggested videos, where am I getting my traffic, or, what's my click-through rate there? The impressions, how much traffic have I actually pulled from suggested with this particular video? Same exact thing goes for browse. You want to click into that. You'll see subscriptions and home pages there. In your case with 75 subscribers, it would be homepage would be the one you're wanting to look at. You also want to do the same exact thing for YouTube search, and you want to see, where your traffic was coming from, and you want to see why in terms of the numbers, right? So this many impressions had this much of a click-through rate. I'm getting this much watch time from this particular source. No wonder this video is doing well in suggested or home pages or whatever. And then you want to, once you unpack all of that and you get all the numbers from the video, then and another thing with that too is you want to look into your audience retention reports and see how people responded to your video as well over time. And you want to look for, any spikes that you had. You want to look for any dips that you had, continuous sections, things like that. YouTube shows us this stuff at a glance, but of course you can click into it and dig in deeper if you want. But in addition to that, what you want to do once you unpack all of this information in terms of the numbers is you want to sit back and you want to look at the numbers and you want to say, okay, these numbers are here because people responded to this content in a certain way. Why do I think they clicked on this more than they clicked on these videos with 100 views? Why do I think they watched this one for a longer period of time compared to, some of these other videos that I'm putting out right now? And you want to start thinking of the people that are behind those numbers in terms of how they interacted with the content that you're putting out, so that you can say, okay, this video has 7,000 views on it because it has a ton of clues in there. That's why I'm saying, like, focus on what was right, not on what you're doing wrong. Because if you focus on what's right, then you go and you try to replicate that, right? But what you want to do is you want to, take all that information. You want to start thinking of the people that are interacting with that. So go and look in your comments, see some of the things that people are saying in terms of how it resonated with them or how they got value from it or whatever. You want to look at basically everything with the video. You want to look at how you started the video. And if people stayed watching through that start of the video, you want to think to yourself, you don't want to just look at it and say like, oh, hey, I had, I'm still at 80% in the first minute. You want to look at that 80% or 70% or whatever it is. And you want to say, okay, if I had this much viewership in the first minute, what was I doing in this first minute? And why do I think people, responded in that way? And then what you want to do is that through the whole video. And then what you do with all of that information is you take all of your notes on, what that video or why you think that video did well. And you create a bunch of, hypotheses or, a bunch of theories around why you think people responded in a certain way. And then in the next piece of content that you publish, you apply those theories that you came up with on why you think people responded better. You try to replicate some of the things that you did. And then once that video is published, then you're going to start getting information from that video. And that information that you're getting from that video is going to let you know if you were on track for some of the things that, for some of the theories that you had. And then some of those theories, you'll end up being, you'll be like, okay, this one isn't working, at least in this video, but I'll try it again on like 2 or 3 more just to make sure. And then you basically rinse and repeat that process using that 7,000 view video as your guide, right? Like the topic of that video is also important. The timing in terms of like when you put that out, So for example, with your type of content, I'm not sure if you put that out at a certain time to where, you know, the amount of interest around that topic was higher. If so, then of course that, you know, would, you know, could cause that video to do better as well. But you want to take all of that information from that video and you want to see what the numbers look like, compare that to your, you know, current content. And then you also want to think about, you know, the people behind it and think about, you know, I opened my video this way. These are the things that I said. Why do I think this caused people to stick around longer? This is the topic of the video. Why do I think people resonated with this topic more? You know, things like that. Let's see here as we keep on going through the list here. Next up, let's see here. Trying analytics. Some areas not enough data. Okay, we've got that one already taken care of. We got Cookie Bakes and Midnight Madness. 4x4. Midnight Madness 4x4. Says back home for Vid Summit. Definitely want to go back next year. If I can. I learned some stuff and had some ideas pop in that I want to try ASAP. Yeah, here's the thing with Vid Summit. Like when you go to Vid Summit, you're going to be a different creator when you come out of it. So since you went to Vid Summit this year, I'm sure you definitely got a plethora of, you know, of information and things to like experiment with on your channel. So I love hearing that you went there and you got a great experience. But I mean, I know you would. Like anybody that goes there has an awesome experience. So I figured that you would. But yeah, great feedback on that. Okay, so now we are going to hop back into the forum over here. And then we will be back into the chat here, answering questions directly out of there here in just a minute. So let's see here. So our next question on our list is from Jacker Crackers. Love that channel name. And they do content. You know, I think my music stopped playing. Did my music stop playing? It did. Or is it just really low? No, I think it stopped. Oh, did I get to the bottom of the list? Let's just click on another one here. Is it not playing? Is it muted? All right, we're going to refresh this then. Okay, so our next question, while that's refreshing, is and not refreshing in a way that's like, you know, drinking cold lemonade on like a hot summer day refreshing, but refreshing in terms of the browser being like, hey, I'll display this stuff for you again. So then maybe this music will play if you click the button. So let me just click on this one, and it looks like this one's playing. Okay. So let's see here. So the next question that we have here is from Jacker Crackers. The goal of the channel is to get 1,000 subscribers. The question, how do you meet other YouTubers like Doug Hewson? That's a great question. So with Doug, you know what? I don't even know. I don't know how we met Doug. I know that Doug probably came into like a live stream or something, I'm guessing. And then he was in the live streams on a regular basis. And then, you know, we ended up, you know, connecting from that is going to be my guess. But I really can't remember where we initially connected. But typically it'll come from, you know, either people hanging out in live streams or hanging out on like in like some different Facebook groups, or, you know, like if you go to a convention, you know, like for example, you know, like Vid Summit, VidCon, Social Media Marketing World, you know, places like that. Like, you know, going to those, you know, you also, you know, meet a lot of people as well in terms of YouTube content creators. But you know, like a lot of the people that I do know through my YouTube channel, most of them are actually, you know, online versus, you know, people that I've met in person. But I've met Doug, you know, in person. We actually hung out at Vid Summit in 2019. So we've actually hung out there. Like Beanie Draws, he's in here as well. I hung out with him in Australia as well. Let's see here. Who else do we got that's hanging out in here that I've actually, I'm just kind of scrolling through this list. Neil from Urban Van Life, hung out with him as well. Danielle from Cutting the Caboose, also Tube Spanner. She is in this live stream from time to time as well. Got to hang out with her a handful of times. I hung out with her at Vid Summit, hung out with her at VidCon, and hung out with her here in Thailand as well. She came to Bangkok, so I got to hang out with her here. But in terms of, you know, hanging out with other content creators, you know, a lot of it does come through, you know, what it is that you're doing on YouTube. And then of course, you know, some of that will flow over into, you know, real life, you know, meetups and things like that too. Paul Peck Drywall Tube as well. He's in here also, you know, met him, hung out with him at Vid Summit also. Chantel, hung out with her at, was it at VidCon? Didn't we? It was at VidCon in Australia though, right? Not VidCon in the States. Let's see here. So yeah. So yeah, that's the pretty much the route, so to speak. Okay. Next up on our list here, we've got, that's a good question. I've never had that question before. So next up on our list here, we have, let's see here, Knights Treks says that they are using an iPhone. They do theme park vlogs. The goal of the channel is to share experiences around the parks and answer the questions anybody may have about the major theme parks in the Orlando area. Question, I just received a little live feature yesterday from my channel, but only 624 subscribers. Did YouTube change the limit? Do we still need 1,000 subscribers? So you can live stream on YouTube without 1,000 subscribers. You just can't do it on a mobile device. So you can do live. You can go live on a YouTube channel. No problem at all. Under 1,000 subscribers, you just can't do it on a mobile phone. Cowboy Cody, thanks for the super chat.
Super chat.
I appreciate it. Let's see here. So next up, yeah, it was a trip. So TubeBuddy actually, they actually sent me and Andrew Can, who worked for him at the time, and my brother D, over to Australia to do some recon on if that particular VidCon would be worth, setting up a booth and things like that for them in the future. Awesome trip. Had a really great time, hanging out over there. Let's see here. So let's take that down and go over here. So next up we got, did I do Night Treks? Okay. So Night Treks says that they received a live feature. Okay. Yeah, we did that one already. Next on our list here is from Robert Bellissimo at the movies. What's up, Robert? Hope you're doing great. Says that they do movie reviews and film education. The goal of the channel is to make an income from YouTube or go full time on it. The question, you recently posted a video on whether YouTube is still worth it. You mentioned affiliate marketing and sponsorship. I'm glad that video resonated with some of you. That's awesome. So let's see here. So you recently posted a video on whether YouTube is still worth it. You mentioned affiliate marketing and sponsorship. I review movies on my channel and interview film and TV professionals. Other YouTubers have told me they haven't had much luck with affiliate marketing. They've tried it with physical media companies. To be honest, it doesn't interest me that much. I also have Patreon and Ko-Fi. What else can I do to bring more revenue streams instead of relying on ads? So if you haven't done merch yet, that's one thing. So you can do merch, definitely. Tinkerman Mick, what's up, man? Hope you're doing great. You can definitely do merch. That's one way. You're already doing the crowdfunding thing through Patreon. In the future, you'll be able to do channel memberships and, all that stuff. In your particular case, once you, once you get into the partner program, if you're not already, live streaming might actually be a great thing for you in terms of generating channel memberships, super chats, things like that, based on you just being able to talk about the movies, with your viewers. So that might be a thing. Since you're not into the affiliate marketing thing, then in that particular case, if there's a thing that you could personally create around movies, yeah, that one's a little bit tough. I'm not really sure because I'm trying to brainstorm here, but I'm not really sure outside of the things that I mentioned. Technically, you could also do, I know people have paid newsletters. So you could do paid newsletters, but typically the idea with that is that you grow that newsletter up and then you actually run ads within that newsletter. So then you would have to get on the grind in terms of, one, building that newsletter around movies that are coming out, maybe, leaks, things like that. And then you would have to, charge for that. So some people do that, but I don't know about doing that in the movie world though, but just some food for thought there.
Super chat.
Lake Wergs, Black Water Sang, Phil Am. Thank you for the super sticker there. I appreciate it. Hey, have at it, man. Crush it when you go to record. Yeah, affiliate marketing, totally. If you can work it into what it is that you're doing, in a seamless way. Okay. So next question that we have here, this one's coming from the forum, and we're going to hop back into the chat to answer some of those questions here in just a minute. And let's see here.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Sarah's Soap says that they do soap making and skincare content. The goal is to create a full-time income, not only with ads. And the question, hold on. Tinkerman Mick recently hit 100,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. Says, thanks for all your advice and tips. Would not have achieved so much so fast without you. High five and fist bump to you, Mick, for crushing it and getting your play button. That's awesome. Welcome to the Button Club, my man. Welcome to the Button Club. Love seeing that. That's awesome. Okay, so let's hear. Next up on our list Let me put us back in flying through space here. There we go. Next up on this list, we've got, Sarah Soap. Sarah Soap says they do soap making and skincare. The goal of the channel is to create a full-time income. And the question is, hey, Nick, says my question is about, or my channel has about 6,500 subscribers, 14 on average daily, but I feel that my views in general are low compared to the subscribers, less than 350,000. What can I do to improve views? I think it might be a problem of the right titles and thumbnails. I'm trying to work on improving different aspects, but I would like to know what I should prioritize in your opinion. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. I appreciate it very much. Okay. So, first off, when it comes to your videos not performing, it's going to come down to the impressions that you're getting on your videos. It's going to come down to how much people are clicking on those videos, and it's going to come down to what happens once they click. So you can go into your YouTube analytics for your content right now. If you're like, hey, I'm these videos are just not getting, put out in front of, enough people, go into your analytics, look at your audience retention. When you're looking at your audience retention, of course, you want that average view, right? In terms of just being able to see the drops and things like that. But another thing that you want to do is you also want to go into your traffic sources for this, just like you do for your thumbnails. And the reason that you want to go into your traffic sources is because if you're not getting a lot of views on your content, then it can help you identify like why. So for example, you might see from your average out view that your retention and your click-through rate are great, but you might go into your traffic sources and find that a lot of that's coming from your channel page of people actually, coming in directly from your channel page that are already involved with what it is that you're doing, that just happened to run across it, after they were consuming some other content. But in addition to that, if you go and look at, what you want to focus on, because you're like, hey, what I need to focus on here. You need to go look and see what your numbers look like coming from suggested, coming from search, if you target search with your content, and coming from home pages, browse. And the reason you need to look at those is you need to look and check out your click-through rate compared to the impressions that you're getting. See how many impressions that you're getting at all. But check the impressions that you're getting, your click-through rate for those impressions. And you also want to look at your average view duration from there as well, so that you can just get an idea of how good am I getting people to click. And then once they click, how good am I at keeping people watching from these specific traffic sources? Now, keep in mind that with YouTube, it goes higher than that, because, they're looking for overall satisfaction. So all of the things that people are doing in your content are important. However, the things that carry the most weight are you got to get people to click. If YouTube is showing your content to people and you can't get them to click on it, then they're going to swap your content out for content that people are clicking on. So what's going to happen is your video is going to start getting less impressions. The videos that people are clicking on are going to start getting more impressions, as well as the new content that you're competing with as well. And then, of course, once they click on your video, you got to make sure that you're paying attention to what happens there. Look at, the likes that you're getting, how many people are adding your content to playlists. Look at how many people are completing your video. This is super important. How many people are making it all the way to the end of what it is that you're doing? Once they get to the end, how many people are actually clicking on your content to see more? Because part of satisfaction is, of course, you got to get them to click. That's step one, because they'll never see your, the best. If you have the best video in the world, they'll never see it if they don't ever click. But once they click on your video, then how many people actually make it all the way to the end is one huge indicator of how much did people enjoy this video? Well, they didn't turn away. They didn't close it down. They didn't walk away. They didn't, close that and go watch something else. They watched this entire video, right? How many people are finishing your video? And then once you get, to your end screen, how many people are actually clicking on what it is that you're recommending at the end. And if you find that, hey, nobody's clicking on my end screens, then start working on your calls to action in your end screens, trying to get people to click on your end screens, trying to lead them into more content. And the better you get at that, then that's going, those things, all of those things, getting people to click, getting people to watch for a longer period of time, and getting them to watch more content, all of those things are going to help YouTube identify that these people that are clicking on this, they're really enjoying this content. So because of that, we're going to find other people that are interacting with YouTube like these people are, and we're going to show stuff to them, right? We're going to show this content to them. So that's the idea. Viper, man about tech. What's up, man? Hope that you're doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. I heard that you crushed Bid Summit. Crushed Bid Summit. Love it.
Super chat.
Nights Trek says, hey, Nick, thank you for the answer. We were able to go live on mobile yesterday at Epcot, so we didn't know if YouTube just recently changed that. Oh, you're able to do it on mobile. Interesting. So, okay, so a thing with mobile, were you doing it directly through the app? If you're doing it through the YouTube app, you still shouldn't be able to do it until 1,000, to my understanding. However, if you're doing it through like a third-party app, third-party apps can also bypass that, so that you can stream with 100 subscribers on a mobile if you do it through a third-party app. But directly from the YouTube app, Yeah, pretty, yeah, they must have changed something if you were able to do it directly through the YouTube app. SCB Wellbeing says, why are the next few months optimal for us? Also previously known as Salad Cream Boy, and getting more traction. Are channel names important? Channel names are important just because if your channel name's easy to remember, it's easy for other people to tell people about you. Right. So like, for example, the thing that I like to give here that my brother and I used to give, when we were streaming together is, if I'm at a coffee shop with my brother, if I meet up him, which I haven't met up with him in like a long time now, because he's been stuck in Mexico. Looking forward to meeting up soon, hopefully. But basically, like when we would meet up at like a coffee shop, if we're talking about YouTube channels, if I'm like, oh, hey man, I've been watching this channel, just awesome stuff. You got to check this person out. And he's like, oh, what are they? Like, what's their channel name, whatever. And if it's an easy to remember channel name, then I can say it. If it's not easy to remember, then I'm not going to be able to tell them the recommendation. It's going to cause this whole production where you got to take out your phone, find it, things like that. And a lot of people aren't going to put that effort in. So when it comes to a channel name, just making it something easy to remember, something easy to spell so that people can type it into, to YouTube to actually come and find your content. Those are things that you want to think about. But in terms of why the next few months are important is because the viewership on YouTube in Q4, quarter four, the last part of the year. This is when, the ad rates go up. This is when more people come onto YouTube to watch content. So because of that, make sure that if you are going to take it seriously, that it is, that it's here the next 3 months. So here, Hyper Steel says, when he does get home, his house must be a jungle. Yeah. I'm thinking the same thing. I joke with him about that. He's going to have like a machete to actually get in there. Vincent W. Davis, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Super sticker. I appreciate it. So next question that we have here, we're pulling this one from the forum, and then we're going to hop back into the chat here in just a few minutes. And let's see here. This next question is from Naked History. Naked History says that they do history and classic literature, and the goal of the channel is to create a community to share my work with. And the question, my aim is to make videos for classic literature and history lovers age 24 to 45, but the traffic on my most views videos seems to be coming from university English literature students. How can I and should I cater to both audiences? Yeah, so if you are making it for a certain demographic, but another demographic is responding to it, in that particular case, as long as, like, if you're trying, because your goal is to create a community to share your work with. So if those people would be, a good candidate to be in your community that you would like to interact with through your love of literature, then in that case, you're getting a good result out of that. So because of that, like, I would just keep doing what it is that you're doing. But if you're like doing it for business or something like that, that's where you have to start thinking like, okay, is this getting in front of the wrong people that's going to kind of steer everything in the wrong way? That's not going to be great for the business. Or is it steering me in a wrong way, but it's going to put me in front of a broad audience, which might be great for the business, right? So you got to think about all of these things when it comes to, your specific question in terms of, getting in front of the right people. But what I would do there is I would say, hey, 25 to 45 is what I'm going for, but I'm getting like university literature students. I would be like, hey, I'm getting those people in here. They're enjoying the content. So I'm going to, keep letting them enjoy the content. Let's see here. Next up on our list, we're going to pull one more for the forum. I saw some super chats come in. I'll get to those here in just a second. Let me answer another question here. Says, in my opinion, Media TV is the name of the channel. The type of channel is entertainment comparison. The goal of the channel is to make YouTube a full-time career and make good money. And the question is, I have an entertainment channel where I compare athletes, entertainers, movies, sitcoms, and I ask the viewers who they would choose. Ex Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera. Any advice? I'm new. Okay, so first, when you are putting out content like that, it's important to make sure that you're thinking that the group that is into athletes might not necessarily be into the sitcoms, or they might not necessarily be into Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera as that example. So because of that, once you notice that, hey, my athlete videos are doing considerably better, or my celebrity videos are doing considerably better, then I would actually double down on that content. So, if it's like, hey, the celebrity videos are doing better, then I would start walking down that path, as long as it's something that you want to do. And I know, athletes are celebrities as well, but it's a different crowd though, right? It's like a different type of celebrity. So the idea behind that is, you want to, if it's your athlete videos that do better, then you want to double down on that so that, you can really dig into the demographic of the people that are enthusiasts about athletes. If your celebrity content goes well, then you want to double down into the demographic of people that really love the celebrity content, right? So that's what I would recommend to you. But another thing that I recommend as well, because you said that you want to make YouTube a full-time career. How many people here want to do YouTube full-time? How many people here want to make a living or at least extra money from YouTube? If that's you, just say me. Just say me in the chat. And the reason I'm asking is in this particular case, and for those of you that are going to say yes or me, the reason that I wanted that interaction is because if you are wanting to get any type of income from your YouTube channel, it's important to make sure that you're putting as many things in place as possible that you can generate income from, and that you start doing it as fast as you possibly can. Because ad revenue, you can make a lot of money on YouTube ads. You can make, tons and tons and tons of money on YouTube ads. However, if you're in a position and your content is good enough and it gets the response enough and you're reaching the audience, that broader audience, to where you can get those bigger numbers, to where you can have like a substantial, like crazy amount of, ad revenue, then the things, if you applied them now, that you could also make money from, if you're in that position where you're getting, all of those views, then all of those other things are also going to do well also. But on the other side, if you are like, hey, I'm going to get enough views, like I'm going to get decent views, but it might not necessarily be like life-changing ad money, that's where you want to start applying different monetization methods now. Look into affiliate marketing, look into sponsorships, look into crowdfunding, like we were talking about earlier with Patreon and Ko-Fi and Buy Me a Coffee. Look into anything that you can even imagine when it comes to your YouTube channels, even, making your own products. If you're, if you have like an entrepreneurial type mindset and you want to take that route, but, you want to start doing those things and applying those things now, because, and merch as well. Like you can set up a spread shop store and you can start selling merch from your YouTube channel for free through your description. You don't have to have the shelf underneath your videos. You can start selling merch for free through your video description, letting people know that you have it through your video description. It doesn't cost you anything except for actually making the merch design, but everything else is all free. So if you can make the merch design, or if you can hop on Fiverr and have somebody do it, or find a template through like placeit.net, for example, then in that case, you can use those designs as your inspiration or just as your template, and then upload them to Spreadshop, and then you can, start generating income from that. But the reason that I was asking that is because it's important that you are building this stuff in now, because one, you don't know which videos are going to pop. And if you have a video that pops and you don't have that monetized in some way, then it's a huge opportunity missed in terms of the income that you're going to generate from it. Two, as you put out more and more content, that content is going to be a part of your video library, which means that your content that performs well or that's competitive for the platform, when new people start coming into your YouTube channel, like for example, there's a lot of people in here that are relatively new to my YouTube channel. For those of you that are relatively new, I guarantee you that when you first found my content and you first started watching my videos, I guarantee you that YouTube also suggested, either on your homepage or, next to other content on YouTube, I guarantee you that they suggested content of mine that was a year old, maybe 2 years old, maybe 3 years old. But whatever the system thinks from my channel, if you came to my channel, you watched a few videos trying to learn about YouTube, whatever it was that YouTube thought that, hey, this from Nick's past library is something that this particular viewer would probably enjoy based on how other people who take a similar path, respond, then in that case, then you are going to see some of my older content as well. And the reason that I'm telling you all this is because if you don't have that monetization in place in the content that you're doing now, then you're going to miss tons of opportunities to, to promote something as an affiliate, or to make money as an affiliate, or through your sponsors, or through your own products, or through your mailing list, or whatever it is that you have in place. If you don't do that stuff now, then you're going to miss a humongous opportunity as your channel grows. And if you start doing those things now, then as your YouTube channel grows, then your income will grow right along with it, which makes for a fantastic path if you're trying to go full time. Because then as your ad revenue is building, your affiliate income's building, your crowdsourced, revenue is building, your merch sales are building, your personal products are building, your email list is building. And in addition to the momentum that your channel picks up, your bank account also, generates momentum. Starts getting momentum in terms of, what it is that you can generate from what it is that you're doing. So make sure that you definitely, put that stuff in place as fast as you possibly can. Roberto Blake in the house. What is up, Sith Lord? Hope that you're doing fantastic. Heard your presentation was awesome at Vid Summit. So nice to see you in here. He says, Roberto says that he makes $3 times to 5 times from affiliate marketing instead of ad revenue, and maybe almost 5 to 10 times from brand deals versus ad revenue, 3 times from coaching versus ad revenue. Ads are his smallest revenue source. Absolutely. Dojo Go says, hey, Nick, do you recommend videos that have people unsubscribing? Do you mean that if you are publishing content and you notice that people unsubscribe from that content, should you keep making it? It depends on what it is that you're doing. And that's not the answer that you want to hear. So let me give you an explanation. So if you're publishing videos, let's say that you're trying to drive, because you're saying that you're doing martial arts? Yeah, online kids martial arts. So I'm going to guess that you're probably driving people into maybe like an online course or something like that for your online kids martial arts. If you are, then in that case, the amount of subscribers that you're generating from your YouTube channel are way less important than the amount of people that you're converting into your course or into, you know, anything that you have available. So because of that, if you are noticing that, you know, hey, when I publish these videos, you know, people are converting into sales from here, but they're costing me subscribers. Then if the goal of the channel is to bring awareness to the thing that you have available, then in that, you know, your course or whatever, then in that case, it's okay if you lose some, you know, subscribers when you publish the content, as long as it's converting. However, if you're like, I'm losing subscribers, nobody's converting, things like that, then in that case, that's where you would want to start kind of reconsidering and being like, hey, I'm publishing this and people are just unsubscribing like crazy, which means that the audience that I'm getting in front of that was already subscribed, that already subscribed for a particular video, they're just not vibing with the stuff that I'm doing right now. So I need to start thinking of why. If it's happening in mass, loss of subscribers always happens on every YouTube channel. People are going to subscribe. People are going to unsubscribe. It's just part of the thing. I've lost over 250,000 subscribers on my channel since I started. Every live stream that I do, I lose subscribers, but it's okay, because this live stream that you're watching right now, the purpose of this live stream is not to gain subscribers from this. The purpose of this live stream is to help you through the one-on-one questions that I get to answer that are very specific, that wouldn't necessarily, you know, be, you know, appropriate for a video, or I just couldn't make that much content that fast in order to get it out. Technically I could, because I'm doing it right now, right? I could, you know, I mean, I'm doing it for the Clips channel anyway, but basically the idea is that you just want to make sure that, you know, that you're looking at the numbers on YouTube and you're thinking of how that reflects into the other things that you're doing or the goals that you have on your channel. So if you do notice that, you know, hey, you know, I am converting from this, then in that case, you know, then keep going, even if it costs you some subscribers. However, if you're like, I'm not getting subscribers from this, I'm not getting any, you know, conversions from this, then in that case, that's when you want to start, you know, just kind of thinking like, okay, why do I think people aren't responding, or that are responding in a negative way? Dottie the Psychic, welcome to the live stream. Says I finally made it to a live stream. Welcome here. Glad that you decided to stop by. Here, Nick, should a celebrity have a niche brand, or is the celebrity the niche and the brand? So yeah, the celebrity can be the niche and the brand, but really the celebrity is more the brand. The niche is the type of content or the value really specifically that the celebrity would make. So if it was like vlogs or something like that, then in that case, you know, that would kind of be the niche, and the very specific things that that person was showing would also be, you know, part of the niche as well. If it was a celebrity that is like teaching people how to do something, then the things that they're teaching people would be the niche, right? It'd be an educational niche, and then it would be sub-niched into the specific thing that they were talking about. So, so because of that, you know, the celebrity is more the brand, but they can also be part of the niche as well, because they already have a large following. So the people that they are going to be getting in front of, you know, are into them, which makes them, you know, part of the niche also. Let's see here as we keep on going through. Watch Disciple, what's up, my man? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Nice to see you in the chat today. Let's see here. Yeah, when we were talking about channel names earlier and talking about how easy it is to recommend, yeah, yours is definitely a challenge. Definitely a challenge. Okay, so let's see here as we keep on going down through this list here. And let me hop over to here and make sure that I got everything from this list as well. So, okay, so we got Fire Queen.
Super chat
Says, create arts and coach, focus on my hands creating items, or my face explaining techniques behind the art and coaching, how to switch cams in live. Okay. So when it comes to focusing on your hands, because you're doing art and coaching, I think. So if you're focusing on your hands and you're creating items, that's fine. But you can also, multicam to where you have like an overhead shot showing what it is that you're doing, but then you have, this, and depending on what you're showing, you can have it to where, it's kind of split halfway down the middle. You can do it to where, you just have you in like a square, like down in a corner somewhere. And then, it shows the rest of the content. If you want people to see your expressions, that sort of thing, if you want them to get to know you, so they can connect with you, then in that case, having you somewhere on there is definitely a way to go. In terms of the switching, well, another thing too, just to back that up a second. So when you're trying to decide if you should show your face and the stuff, or just the stuff, what you want to also do is you want to make some content of both. So let's say you make 5 videos of one, 5 videos of the other. Then in that case, you can actually go and see if, if people responded better to the one with your face, or if they responded better to the one without your face. The way that you do that is inside of your YouTube analytics, they have a grouping feature, and you go into that grouping feature, and then you can actually create a group. And one of those groups would be, with my face would be the name of that group. The other group would be without my face. And then you would literally put the videos in the face group that included your face, videos without the face in the group without your face. Ooh, it's almost like a tongue twister getting all that out. And then you would compare those groups against each other. And then you would look at that information to see if you notice any difference in terms of how people respond between the two. But in most cases, it's going to be, pretty similar in both cases. But if you do notice that one gets a better response, like a substantially better response, then in that case, you'd want to make sure that you continue doing that. In terms of the switching when you're live. So for this, I use this device right here. It's called an ATEM Mini. This one's a Pro ISO, but this actually has 4 camera inputs into it. So I can switch between 1, 2, 3, and 4. And by doing that, that allows me to, just kind of run this thing hands off, because with this, it comes with software, and that software will let you pre-program exactly how it is that you want the cameras to switch and for how long. And then that will do it that way. Now, if you want to manually do it, then in that case, what you would do here with the ATEM Mini is that you would just hit the buttons on, whichever thing it is that you want to do. And so it'd be like, hey, this is camera 1. Now I'm going to switch to camera 2. You can also do this in other software like OBS, for example. There you can create different scenes, and then you would click into each scene. That would have, one would be a front-facing camera, the other would be the down camera, just the other angle, whatever it is. But you can do that inside of OBS as well. Oh, let's see here. Dojo Go Online Kids Martial Arts says, I'm top search for most kids karate related videos. Nice. Should I try different keywords that are more broad, like kids workouts, or should I stick with kids karate? I would, if you're trying to get people into like a course, for example, then in that case, I would definitely think, okay, what paths could people take that would lead them into what it is that I'm doing, that would lead them into a conversion? So if you frame your entire video, even though it's martial arts, if you framed it around, a workout, then in that case, that would definitely be something that would lead people in. If their kid had a lot of fun doing that particular workout through the martial arts, then it would make sense that that parent might consider, getting that course for their kid. So absolutely, I would absolutely do that. Another thing that you want to do as well is when you are targeting, search, also make sure, because a lot of people will do one, but they won't really consider the other. Also make sure that you are optimizing for overall discovery. And what I mean by overall discovery is when you are making something that is dedicated, or that you're making for search, a lot of people will not include, or they won't think about, if this shows up on a homepage, or this shows up recommended next to another piece of content, and nobody's actually, and that person, not nobody, but that person is not actively looking for the content that I make, they didn't expect to watch it. They came on to watch one of Nick's videos about YouTube, but then they show your content on the homepage as well next to mine. What about that packaging in terms of the topic, title, and thumbnail would cause that parent or that person that you're trying to reach? What about your content would cause that person to respond from a homepage? So you want to kind of mix. You want to think overall discovery. So it's like, yeah, sure, I'm going to include my keywords and all that stuff for search. But then if somebody were to log onto YouTube not expecting to watch this, what about this packaging? Like, what could I add to the title? What could I add to the thumbnail to help grab attention from a homepage, to grab attention from suggested videos, and possibly pull people in that way? So make sure that you're doing that as well. Vincent Davis.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure next time you get the chance that you go to Nimmin VIP. That is our members only Facebook group. The URL to it's right here. Once you get there, fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you're a member, and I will add you as soon as this stream is complete, as long as we don't have any technical difficulties like the power going out or the internet shutting down or anything weird like that, because that stuff happens from time to time. I actually had pretty much my entire day yesterday was without power. So we had, I think around like 2 o'clock or maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we had a really bad storm and, tons of rain, flooding all over Thailand. And, we had, like, where we are, it hit really bad. We're up in Chiang Mai, and, like, trees falling on houses, like these big trees that have been here for, ever, like falling down, these gigantic trees, just crushing houses, like all kinds of crazy, things like that going on. Tons of pictures on the internet, like of all the destruction that happened yesterday. But it was a pretty crazy storm. Okay. So let's see here. So next up on our list here, we've got, let me back up through some of these, because I think there's some here that I didn't do. Thanks for the answer. We go live on mobile yesterday. Shall somebody have a niche noob? How do I find here? I'm actually going to hit this while we're looking for that.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Okay, so really quick, the Dojo Go question, the one on removing videos that have people unsubscribing. No, I wouldn't remove those. I would just take into consideration, like, hey, there's people are people are unsubscribing from this. So all the stuff that I said before, but just think, like, why would the people that have subscribed to another video want to unsubscribe from this? Lions Ground says, I use TubeBuddy Star. My niche is debunking UFO videos. Unfortunately, it gives me limited SEO info. My videos still perform poorly. Please advise. So what I would do if I was in your case is I actually would, and I would need to see the back end of your channel to like nail this one. But what I would do is I would actually not even like really consider search that much for what it is that you're making. And I know that's probably against all the stuff that you've heard before. But for the type of content that you're making, I would think thumbnail and title. Like that's the thing I'd be thinking about. And the reason that I would think that is because YouTube is going to get enough information from the video itself in terms of, like, hey, this is about UFOs, that kind of stuff. So they're going to have that information. I would make sure that you add that in the title, make it part of the title in natural language. Make sure you add it to your description, things like that, so that the system can easily detect at the time of publish exactly what the content's about. But when you are doing that type of content, you want to practice your hand and get really good at and develop the skill of learning how to get people to click when the whole situation that I gave Dojo Go before that recommendation about, getting people to click when they're not expecting to watch it. With your type of content specifically, you need to start thinking not necessarily like, how do I get this to show up in search? But you need to start thinking, okay, if somebody is coming onto YouTube and they are somebody that is watching content around UFOs, what type of stuff could I do with this thumbnail and title and just the topic, the whole thing, your entire video? Like, what could I do with this to grab somebody's attention and pull them into this piece of content from a homepage or suggested videos? Think in that line with your type of content, not necessarily YouTube search. And by doing that, you're going to go through probably a handful of videos to where you're going to be like, hey, what's going on? But once you nail it, then you're going to be like, oh, okay, now I get it. So I recommend to you that you focus less on YouTube search and more on like, okay, how can I make this thumbnail? How can I do this title in a way to help UFO? I'm just going to say enthusiasts. I know that's not the right word for it, but people that are into UFOs, I'm going to, make this thumbnail so that they'll recognize it and they'll be like, oh, this has something to do with UFOs. And of course, make extremely compelling titles with those to try to pull people into what it is that you're doing. So with UFO content, that's the approach that I would take with that. If you've already got videos that are showing up in search, that's fine with those particular videos. Leave them there. And sometimes as part of your content strategy, make some content for search, right? Because that's another traffic source that you can definitely tap into. But what I'm saying is like what you're talking about in general is like, like there's a lot of people interested in that. And the amount of people searching for it compared to the amount of people that, will just see it on a homepage if people respond positively to it, you'll get a substantial amount of traffic coming from recommendations compared to search for what it is that you are doing. If you can, try your hand at it. And if you can, develop the skill set, not the skill set, it's just the understanding. How do I help people understand that this is something that they might be interested in? Once they identify that, what is it I can do in the title in order to help them, decide to actually click on this? Natalie, Design to the Nine, says, hey, Nick, Vid Summit wasn't the same without you guys. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, I was over here. Major FOMO. I'm like looking at Twitter feeds. I'm looking at Facebook posts, and I'm just like, oh man, like I wanted to be there so bad. Yeah, it's unfortunate that that we weren't able to make it over there. But I'm glad that everybody else had a great time. I'm sure tons of great information came out of there, as it always does. I'm actually starting tomorrow. I'm going to start watching the replays and catching up there myself. Dottie the Psychic says, why does Google understand that I'm a psychic, but YouTube sends my stuff to India and thinks I'm a biker? So it's not that YouTube necessarily sends your stuff to India and that YouTube thinks that you're a biker. It's that the people that have responded to your content are from India, and the people that have responded to your content, maybe, like, I don't know where the biker thing is coming from, like where you got that data from, but in terms of the demographic of sending it to India, the people are just responding to it at a higher rate there than they are in other places. So just as a heads up, like the Indian population on YouTube is ginormous. It's just gigantic on YouTube. So because of that, regardless of what type of content you make, a really good chance you have a lot of people from India watching. But just keep in mind that, if you're showing up like only there and nowhere else, it just means that, they're responding to you there and not necessarily responding elsewhere. Let's see here. So next up, and I'm going to go down through here, most kids related. Okay. So Whiskey and Sunshine Off Grid says, thanks for the super chat, by the way, says, I had an affiliate set up. Let me switch to this. Bam. So I had an affiliate set up, merch set up, and a buy me a beer. Still no bites. I'd like to have a membership join, but I don't think that anyone would join. Any ideas on what else that I should do? Since you're doing whiskey, I'm not sure if, well, actually, you already say that you do affiliate stuff there. So in that particular case, yeah, the only thing that I would think, if you're trying to generate more sales on an affiliate side, is make sure that you're spreading awareness that you do have links available for things. And you also want to make sure that you're also considering, like, okay, if I'm making a piece of content about like a certain like drink, then in that particular case, the intent that somebody might have if they're coming into this piece of content might not necessarily be to buy something. Whereas if you were to make some very intentional search targeted content to where it was around like, the best brands or, the best drinks or, something like that, the best value for the money, that kind of stuff, then in that case, the person that would be looking for those types of things, the intent when they come into the content would be much higher in terms of possibly making a purchase. So if you're doing anything as an affiliate, you want to make sure that you're keeping those things in mind. So sure, you can make money in terms of just letting people know that you have links in the description, but the place to make the most is either one, nailing it from the homepage to where it's a review or, a comparison or something like that, because those typically do well in terms of conversions, but also like search, like you can make bank from YouTube search as an affiliate, just because the intent is so high when people are looking for specific things in YouTube search. So I would just consider that as part of what it is that you're doing. But if people aren't interacting right now, let me click into your channel here really quick. So people aren't interacting right now, or not really doing much right now. You've got 1,300 subscribers on your content, and it looks like you're getting, let's see here, like last week. So you got a video. Yeah, so it looks like you're getting like, 100, maybe 300, ish views, on a video. So because of that, you also have to think of scale. So, if you have, like 100 views on a video, then, your conversions have to be pretty high in order for, somebody to convert, out of 88 views, for example. So because of that, like I would really work on, continuing what it is that what you're doing now in terms of just trying to make better content, trying to learn how to get people to click more and so on, so you can get your view counts up. And then if you can get your view counts up, then you'll notice like, okay, typically when we get about this many views, we can typically generate about X amount of sales out of those many views, for example. But right now, I would focus on growing the channel with those things in place, like keep doing them, keep moving forward with what it is that you're doing. But I would not get discouraged right now in terms of the income that you're generating, just based on the amount of views that you're currently getting on your videos. So I would definitely make some search targeted content for the sake of affiliate, the affiliate side of things. But it looks like you're not actually talking about whiskey here. So it looks like you're doing homesteading, actually, is what it is that you're actually doing. So because of that, like your unboxing and review video, that's a great approach to affiliate marketing. So keep doing things like that. And when you are doing that, you have, and I'm going to pull this one up on screen really quick. And I hope that it's okay that I'm doing this. I just want to give you some very specific advice about what it is that you're doing, because you're trying to generate income from this. And I just want to make sure that you are giving yourself the best possible chance for that. So one of the things that you want to make sure that you're thinking about when you're putting these together is like right here. Let me find that video again. Where did I just see it? Oh, right here. So like this unboxing and review video. First off, I do want to let you know just a few quick tips on this. So first, right out of the gate, the ratio, when I hover over this, you see how it's shooting it in like a square. Oh, never mind, it opens up. So just from a viewer experience perspective, try to get that to match up in terms of like a wide shot from the front, wide shot for the B-roll that you're showing. That'll be less jarring for the viewer, which will gain you more audience retention. And in addition to the gain in audience retention, that can also help you get more views. In addition to that, here you have universal chainsaw carrier bar saw haul. So what you want to think about, and this is the video that I'm talking about just for everybody that's live right now, this one right here. So what you want to think about is when you are making a unboxing or review video, even though you have unboxing and review in the thumbnail, you also want to make sure that you're adding that to the title as well. So it'd be like universal chainsaw carrier unboxing, or chainsaw carrier review. And the reason that you want to do that is because that helps YouTube have that context as well, in terms of, hey, this is something that, people are looking for a review of this. This creator has a review of this. So then, it can help your video show up in search better when people are looking specifically in that type of, with this type of content, when people are looking for specifically for the review. This will help your videos show up there. So it'll be easier to get people to, click on it, one, from search, and then come in and hopefully, make you some affiliate sales from there. But you want to think about that with all of your titles. So absolutely, doing things like this can get you like homepage traffic. But in addition to that, like you also want to think about, and you have this product. So since you have this product, like, like the things that you're thinking about before you bought it, when you're like, should I get this one? Should I get another one? So, when you're packaging everything up, you want to think about that as well. So like, for example, you could make one video on this that's an unboxing, and this would help you too, in terms of giving yourself the opportunity to possibly capitalize on, just more people that could help you convert into more sales for that particular product. So for example, like what you can do is how you've made an unboxing and a review. If you have unboxing as one video, and then you have a review as another video, then you have two pieces of content. You can follow that up with a, after, 1 month of using this type of thing. And you can take different strategies with all three of those pieces of content to try to tap into the different features of YouTube. So for example, like you could have one, like the review would be the one that you would target for search. The unboxing would be something that, would be more appropriate for possibly search. So I would optimize it around that. But then I would also go broad for the overall discovery, and trying to think the people that might be interested in this, if it were to show up on YouTube's homepage as an unboxing, what would make somebody that's interested in chainsaw carriers, what would make them think like, oh, I got to see what's going on here? Typically, it would be something like, watch this before you buy this chainsaw carrier, or something along those lines. Or, before you buy this chainsaw carrier, watch this. Or before you buy a chainsaw carrier, watch this, something like that. And in your unboxing video, you would make sure that you're keeping that approach in mind. And as you're unboxing everything, you would say, and that's a little bit extreme. You can take that approach with a review as well. It's a little bit extreme for an unboxing, but you can definitely take that approach, but you want to make sure that you're thinking about it beforehand, so that when you're recording that, you also give kind of like a mini review. So you unbox it, and then once it's unboxed, then, you say like, hey, and you could still do this, by the way. You have one video here, you could still make this content. You have the unboxing and review. You could still do an unboxing. You could still do a review. You could still do a follow-up a month and 6 months later. But the idea is that with each one of these pieces of content that you put out, you have some that you're being very intentional about. I'm not necessarily optimizing this for search, so I'm going to have a keyword in here, which in this case would be like chainsaw carrier, but I'm also going to think like somebody that might be thinking or considering getting a chainsaw character. carrier, I'm sorry, if they were to see this on their homepage, like what about it would make that person, you know, be like, oh, I gotta click in here and watch this, right? And start taking some of your content and making it for that purpose, and then some of the content, like the review content, and putting that into targeting YouTube search and making sure that you're optimizing everything for YouTube search in that particular situation. So that's the approach that you want to take. Let's see here. So hopefully that was helpful. As we keep on going down this list here, no, it is not over. I'm on Earth. Let's see here. We are pretty much just getting started, essentially. Okay, so let's see here. Let's scroll back up here so I can pin some of these on screen as they're coming in. So as other people are coming in, they know what it is that we are talking about. Let's see here. So I think the next one, we got Dottie the Psychic. And then here, Travel with Sanya.
Super chat.
I have a travel channel. Last 28 days, YouTube impression goes down 13% in my content. Got 62% by search, 13% by suggested. My click-through rate is 6%. How can I improve impression and click-through? So if you improve your click-through, you'll improve your impressions. If you improve your response to the content in terms of retention, how many people are completing the video, how many people are clicking on your end screens, how many people are giving the video a thumbs up, how many people are adding it to playlists, how many people are sharing it, all of those things are going to cause YouTube to say people are enjoying this, so therefore we're going to show it to more people. Sounds easy, but that's how the system works, right? Of course, there's tons of complex stuff that's going on behind it. They have like, I think it's like 8 billion or 80 million. Yeah, I can't remember how many data points, but it's something crazy in terms of like all the different things that they're tracking. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to, get more impressions, then you got to get people to click more. You got people to watch more. You got people to watch, additional content when they watch that first video, or further engage, subscribe your channel, that kind of stuff. But when it comes to, let's see here, click-through rate 6%. When it comes to your click-through rate, also make sure that you're looking at the different traffic sources as well. And the reason that I always say this is because, if you have a 6% click-through rate, you want to go into your traffic sources and you want to look. So basically you go into your YouTube analytics, and here, I'll show you this. I'll show who here does not know. When I say that, who doesn't know what I'm talking about? Who's like, yeah, that's great, Nick, but I have no idea what that even looks like. I have no idea where that is. Like, I don't even know what's going, like, why are you even saying that? Like, if you're one of those people, let me know. And then I can switch accounts here, and I can actually show you on my clips channel. I can show you where to actually find that. So just let me know, and I'm just wait for those responses to come in while I'm answering another question. So, so let's see here. So next up on the list, we have, let's see here. Why does Google understand psych? We got that one. Okay. So, Dojo Go says, how do you balance keyword titles and enticing titles? Should you rotate them or use both at the same time? My plan is to have first day enticing title, then keyword heavy after. Thank you for answering. Yeah, that's a great approach. However, having the keyword in there also helps in terms of, the viewer identifying what it is that you're making also. So, like if your content shows up on a homepage, that keyword might help them identify that your content is something that they care about. So, using it, even if you're trying to get on, homepages and more suggested videos, it's still important if you can work it in. But the difference is, you want to think in natural language. How can you write a title that is both compelling and has keywords in it, or that is just hyper compelling? In terms of, like I was saying before in the review content with the chainsaw carrier, like the people that you're trying to reach with that content, for those people, like, what is it from your perspective, with the type of content that you make, what is it that a parent, for example, when they're on YouTube, or a kid, if you're trying to reach them, like, what is it about your thumbnail and about your title that would make that person, want to click on it? But more so, like, when it comes to your title specifically, and keep in mind, when it comes to the title, you don't have to do all of this in the title, because the thumbnail and the title work together as a team to win the click. So because of that, you can put some of this in your title, maybe, or some of this in your thumbnail if you want to use text, just by not putting like a whole title there, but just putting like a few focus words, like 2 or 3 words there that just kind of help illustrate what it is that you're talking about. But what you want to think about is just in natural language. how can I workshop this title to either one, be hyper compelling, or two, to include the keyword, but also be compelling. And you just want to write a bunch of different titles until you nail it. So one of the things that I'll do with my content, and like successful creators do this, is when you are putting your content together and you're thinking of the packaging in terms of the thumbnail and the title, is one, you'll most likely make more than one thumbnail instead of just saying, hey, this is the thumbnail, I'm rolling with it. In addition to that, you're also most likely going to the like if you're doing it the right way, you're also going to, instead of just writing one title, you're going to say, okay, what is it I'm trying to express here? How is it that I'm going to try to be compelling here? And then you're going to write a stack of titles. That stack might be 10, it might be 20, it might be 25, it might be even more. But the idea is you want to write a bunch of titles down and just keep making them shorter, keep making them more compelling, right? And just keep whittling them down until you're like, you know what? I think this is the one. And then still try to do a few more and see if you can make it better. But the idea is to, just write a bunch of titles instead of just saying, what could the title of this video be? I'm going to make it this and then go for it. Like, write a bunch of them and just workshop it. Spend a decent amount of time workshopping your title, because that is going to be one of the most important things in terms of, getting people to actually click in and come into what it is that you're doing. Let's see here. Please show us. Please show us. I'm one of those people. Okay, so we can get tons of feedback on that, but I will show you though for the people that do want to see that. So let's see here. So let me switch over to another browser here. I'll just pull it up here, and then I'm going to go into my other. This is going into my Clips account. And my Clips account, this is where, so for those of you that are hanging out in this live stream, just a heads up, like, we take clips from these live streams and we put them on another channel. So the channel that I'm getting ready to show you is that channel, but it's called Nimmin Extra. And I really encourage you to subscribe to that channel. So in the event that you miss a live stream or something like that, there's a big delay. Like, we're still putting out content on that channel from my old place, and I've been here for 9 months. So there's a big delay. I also had a nice period of time where I wasn't publishing over there, but now I'm publishing over there like clockwork. So make sure that you subscribe to that channel. But give me a second here. I'm going into the back end here, and I'm going to show you where this is at. Okay, so give me 1 second. Let me go down to, let's just grab one of these videos here. And we will grab here. Okay. So what you want to do, oops, let me remove this one and share this one. So what we're going to be doing right now, and I'm going to make this banner here. Actually, you know what? This is for you guys that are hanging out. So somebody comes in, if they want to figure it out, they can. Okay, so what you want to do, make sure I'm sharing the right thing. When your analytics loads up for the video, right? You want to do this at the video level, not the channel level, okay? So when your video rolls up, yeah, you can see right here, this one's so old that it's even from the side view. It's not even look at this. It's from the side view. It's not even from that front view that I usually did. So this one's really old. But anyway, so what you want to do is you want to click into the See More right here. Once you click into the See More, then you want to go to Traffic Sources. If you don't see to where you can click into the traffic sources right here, just as a quick heads up for you, and up here in the top right-hand side, instead of since published, you can change this to since uploaded, and they'll show up to where you can click on them. This is important if you're trying to get into your external traffic sources or if you're trying to go deeper into browse. But in addition to that, let's say that you were to take it down to like the last 28 days, then in that case, this will show you the information for the last 28 days or whatever it is that you select here. But the idea, and I'll zoom in on this one here. But the idea is you want to come here and then you want to look and you want to say, okay, browse features, right? So if we click into this, then we can see from the home page, which is right here, right? Homepage, subscriptions, watch later, all that. The thing that you want to look at is homepage. So here you can see that it's gotten, 4,000 views from the homepage. The average view duration coming from the homepage is 2 minutes and 13 seconds. The click-through rate from the homepage is 6.3 based on 46,000 impressions. So it's not bad. Right? This video's got like 17,000 views on it. And then from YouTube search, we can see that I have a lower click-through rate, and my average view duration is much lower when it's coming from YouTube search. We can also see suggested videos. I also have a 2.5% click-through rate. And just as a heads up, typically, it's actually kind of normal. I wouldn't say kind of, it's normal to have a lower click-through rate from suggested compared to home and search, just as a heads up. But then you can also see my average view duration here is 1 minute and 36. So it's pretty low in terms of average view duration, in terms of my click-through rate from suggested. that's why you can see that I've only pulled like 1,000 views from suggested videos for this particular piece of content. For the browse features, you can see I pulled 5,000 here, and I've gotten more watch time. And of course, my click-through rate's higher here, included with, a higher amount of impressions, which means that this is actually even a better response than the 6.3, because it's harder. As you start getting more impressions, it's harder to get people to watch longer. It's harder to get people to click more. So because of that, this one's actually doing substantially better in browse than it is from suggested. And you can see here, and this is the thing that I'm always trying to bring to your attention. You can see here, channel pages, right? I'm getting 1 minute and 55 average view duration for the people that are coming in from the channel page, but my click-through rate is a 7.8% coming from my channel page, because those people are the most likely to actually click on it because they're on the channel actually looking for it. So, because of that, you want to make sure that you go into here and you look at the information that you're seeing in here. And of course, just as a heads up, you can also click into this plus icon and you can see, like, you can add like additional metrics to it. Like in this case, like average percentage viewed, but in your stats, just in case you're not familiar with this, you can click into this plus button, and depending on what it is that you're on, you can add, different things to it to be able to pull information from. So, that's where that is. And you want to make sure that you're doing that. And the reason that you're doing that, and let me pull this down real quick. And I'm going to go in here. Let's go to reach. The reason that you want to do that is because in this situation, you can see here, when I go to the averaged out view, you can see that it's showing that I'm getting like a 6.2% on my click-through rate, but that's not reflective of the different traffic sources, right? So, so because of that, you want to make sure that you're not looking at this and thinking that that's the holy grail, because it's not. You want to actually dig into your traffic sources, and you can do it here too, where you can just click into the see more here, and then it'll take you right to it. But you want to dig into your traffic sources so that you can start looking and seeing, like, okay, here I've got like a 7.8, which is inflating my click-through rate, but down here I've got a 2.5 in suggested. So if I want more suggested traffic for this video, one, hopefully, like when I'm putting my thumbnail and my title together, I need to also consider, like, when people are clicking on this right now, they're watching for 1 minute and 36 seconds, which isn't a long time. So because of that, instead of why people don't subscribe to your YouTube channel for the topic, I need to make it something else to where, in terms of the whole package, so that when people actually are presented with this, the expectation that they might have when they click on this would be different, which that expectation that they would have might cause them to watch longer as well. So you got to make sure that you're, keeping all of those things in mind. And so I don't cause anything weird to happen with my live stream here. Just to be safe, I'm going to switch back to my main channel here. Okay. So hopefully all of that made sense. But for those of you that, are not doing that, you're not looking in there, make sure that you do. Make sure that you do, because, like that area can shed tons of light for everybody that's like, hey, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong on my channel? That area can help shed tons of light in terms of why it is that you're not getting traffic. Okay, so let's keep on trucking is what we'll say there. So while we are keeping on trucking, let's go and grab some more of these questions here. So next up, okay, we got that one taken care of. So Early Bird Live says, you rock, Nick, always dropping jewels. Thank you, Early Bird Live. I appreciate the kind word and the super chat. Thank you. And let's see here as we keep on going down. Yamata Harisa says, is it best to go through YouTube AdSense or an MCN when you get to do YouTube partnership? You want to do AdSense through yourself. Yeah, you don't want to do it through an MCN. Let's see here. In most cases, like an MCN's not going to do much for you. Like they have things where it's like, hey, if you have a problem, then, we have contacts at YouTube, or, hey, we'll get you a discount or a free, music service or whatever, but it's not free. Like they're taking your ad money, right? They're taking a percentage of your ad revenue. So like when they're like, hey, we'll get you this tool, or we'll get you this, we'll get you this tool, or we'll get you this, music service or whatever the thing is. It's like, they're not hooking you up. They're doing it in exchange for a cut of what it is that you're making in ad revenue. So, so just get that stuff yourself and keep full control of everything it is that you're doing. Let's see here as we keep on going through this list. Urban Van Life. Neil, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing awesome. So my channel is now starting to be shown up as recommended for other van life content and not urban exploration content. And I think that it was you that said change it to Urban Van Life. Thanks, bro. Yeah, high five and fist bump. yeah, that definitely worked out. And, more importantly, it's the content choices that you're making and things like that. It's just that van life as part of it might, help pull people in as well. Love the channel name. That's great. That's the best channel name I've seen all day. Okay, so let's keep on going down this list. Matt and Sarah says, Nick, first I want to say thanks. We use TubeBuddy and we just are not getting traction after switching our niche. Yeah, so when you switch your niche, that sort of thing can happen because, excuse me, that kind of thing can happen because you have an entire channel that is, oh, some of these aren't showing up. Oh, I wonder if it's because I switched the, nah, couldn't be. Why is that not showing up there? Okay. Anyway, when it comes to the not getting traction after switching your niche, the reason that's happening is because when you are publishing content and you have a channel full of a bunch of different, content that's not related to what it is that you're doing now, you have new viewers coming in that are interacting with that content. When you publish new content, YouTube is showing some of that, your new content, to those people that are not interested in some of the new stuff. So because of that, your click-through rate is being impacted for the people that do click. Once they realize like, oh, this isn't the normal stuff, then, your average view duration is being impacted. Like everything is being impacted because of that. So what you want to think about is if you have a lot of content that's bringing people in from the old way that you were doing things or the old content that you were making, in that case, you might want to create a new channel, or you might want to unlist some of that content, and you're going to take a hit when you do this. But you might want to unlist some of that other content that's bringing in those viewers for the sake of building things in the direction of the new way that you're trying to go. So that's that's some things to consider when it comes to that. Let's see. Rob Values says, I'm running for a local school board in 2022. Is there a way to hyper target YouTube search for discoverability for my campaign videos to voters in the district? Here's what you want to do. So you don't want to do that. Like, don't even waste your time doing that. Here's what I would do is make videos and put them on all of, like, run ads. And because you'll be able to take this out of your budget, make videos, run ads on all of your competitors. So in YouTube ads or Google ads, you can target YouTube videos. You can target specific YouTube videos. You can also target specific YouTube channels with the ads as well. So instead of trying to like target YouTube search and hoping that your stuff comes up there, I would run ads. I would run ads and I would put them on your competitor videos. I would put them on channels of your competitors and channels just on anything in your area. So like, for example, if you're going for a local school board, then in that case, I would put your videos on like a local chamber of commerce channels. I would put it on, realtors in your area. Anybody that you think would be a good candidate to see your ad, I would put it on them. And of course, you can target the area as well. You can also do that through Facebook ads also. So I would definitely do those things for the sake of not having to try to, like when it comes to YouTube search isn't as easy as like, hey, I'm just going to make some videos and like go, because your videos have to perform, right? Your videos have to perform in order for them to stay in search. So if you end up getting, like if a competitor makes a better video, then you're going to lose that advantage of YouTube search, right? So because of that, just going after ads would be the approach that I would take for the sake of just making sure that you're just nailing it, that you're always in front of the right people. But some things that you can also do with ads is you can also target keywords. So you could target keywords around your area as well. And then you can show up as like a discovery ad at the top of search when people are looking for, things around your area and stuff like that. So that would be the approach that I would take in your case. Like if I was trying to get like elected locally, then I would go after that sort of thing. Anything that's popular in your, like in your area, like I would just run content on, run ads on all of that stuff. Hey, what's up, Ivan? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Ivan Novikov, hope that you're doing great. Have an awesome day. Fitness boss, glad that you got some value out of that. Okay, so as we keep on going here, I'm just going to do a quick scroll here, make sure that I didn't miss any of the super chats. So let me refresh the page here, because this one over here that's kind of keeping track of these. It kind of stopped keeping track. So, okay, here we go. It's back. Okay. So, let's see here. So Neil, we got that taken care of. We got Matt and Sarah taken care of. Rob Values. Okay. So next up, Hannah Bailey
Super chat.
says, thank you. My daughter has a channel, 67 subscribers. My children, 15-year-old and 20-year-old, and I are starting a family channel. Goal is to entertain and inspire others. Any idea for our first intro video? So when you just make your first video, just kind of let people know like what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it and who's involved and, all of that stuff as a, like meet the family type of video. So that way you are, 67,000. Okay. Yeah. So in that case, yeah. So okay. Totally different scenario. So yeah, so it's 67,000 instead of 67, totally different game you're playing. So when it comes to you having a channel of 67,000, then in that case, if you are trying to have your first intro video on the other channel, then I would just make that first video, about the family, getting to know you, things like that. But another thing that you should do is you should also make sure that you have a video on your main channel that's also sending people over there, as long as the audience that you're trying to reach is going to be similar. In addition to that, and I'm sure you're familiar with this already, but I have to say it just to make sure that you know this, just in case. You also want to make sure that you're spreading it in your community feed. In addition to that, put a playlist. So you have, at the top of your channel page right now, you should have an uploads playlist, or you have content at least that you're featuring there. The next playlist down, have that content from another channel, because you can add playlists from another channel. You can see that on my channel page for my clips channel. So you can add a playlist from another channel on yours, onto your channel page. So I would definitely do that as well, so that as people are flowing over from your content, looking for more content from you, that they'll run across that playlist as well. Some of those people will click directly into that. So I would definitely make sure that you're doing those things as well. But yeah, for the first video, I would of course make your trailer, make it unlisted. But if you're going to do a actual, video for it, then I would do it to meet the family, telling them why you did that. Tell them about your other channel too, because, there is some authority and some status that comes with that. So let them know like, hey, we have this other channel, that people really enjoy. And because of that, we want to bring the whole family in. So therefore we're doing, this channel. I would take that approach. When it comes to, trying to build that bridge between the two channels and, starting the other one, as long as the audiences, of course, are similar. If they're not, then in that case, then I would just make the first video on the other channel just as a meet the family thing too. But I just wouldn't necessarily try to send, as many people as possible from the main channel. Let's see here. So what causes, oops, I accidentally clicked on that. Didn't mean to. So what causes RPM to suddenly drop and stay low? My RPM for one video went from 13 to 16 to 2 to 4 and it stayed there for over a month. No change in status. So what happens when it comes to your RPM as well as your CPM is that's going to shift based on, like, it's always updating. So basically every time you log in every day, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. Sometimes it'll stay the same. But the thing that's happening is your ad rates are being changed based on current inventory, in terms of ad inventory for your content. It's also being based on the people that are seeing that content. And it's also being based on, let's see here, who's seeing your content, the actual ad inventory for the content, and where they're seeing that content. So who, where in the ad inventory. So so what I mean by that is, like, let's say that you were reaching like a certain demographic in terms of age, and then they, had higher ad rates. And then let's say that your audience shifted to like India for a bit and their ad rates there are lower, let's say Thailand, and their ad rates there are lower. So because of that, then it causes everything to kind of drop a little bit. Let's say that your the ad inventory is low, then therefore they're just not showing as many ads on your videos either. So those types of things can cause the RPM to suddenly drop and to stay low as well. So like, for example, using that India example or Thailand example, let's say that when you publish your video, let's say initially it hits like the Western world, it hits the Western market. They have higher ad rates in general. So because of that, you are getting those higher ad rates there. But then let's say, people in lower ad rate countries just start, responding to it better. And therefore it starts being shown more there. And a lot of your traffic is coming from there. Then that can cause you to drop and stay low as long as those people keep responding at a higher rate than the others. So that's what can happen. Let's see here. Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Let's see here. So Science-Based Fitness says, I've evaluated my content. Out of 70 videos, my 4 golf-specific videos are 3 of my top-performing videos. Should I lean heavily into throws and then heavily into those, and then occasionally do general fitness videos? What would you do? I'm going to look at your channel really quick for this question because it's a pretty specific one. Let me go to your videos list. Let me zoom back out. So if your top videos in terms of response are golf videos and your whole channel is science-based fitness, then yeah, getting your body together for golf, I would definitely make that a series. You might not necessarily drive the whole channel that way unless that series just takes off and people, start coming in like crazy. But I would definitely make that a series. So it would be like, golf fitness might be like one of the series that you want to do an ongoing series for, to keep bringing those people back in and to see if, that particular content is getting shown to the right people and therefore they're clicking on it more. I would definitely experiment with that if that was mine. So basically the idea there is like, for example, if you look at my channel, every video on the channel isn't about like getting views, right? Those videos typically do the best because I'm in front of people, majority of the viewers here have under 1,000 subscribers and they're trying to figure that part out. So therefore, when I publish a video on, how to get views based on the people that currently interact with the content and love it, YouTube goes and finds, more people that, they think might interact and love it. But I also have videos on streaming. I've got videos on mobile apps. I got videos on, mindset stuff like the video that I just did in terms of YouTube being worth it, things like that. So that doesn't mean that you necessarily have to make just that content, but I would definitely make that an ongoing series, which means maybe you put a video in there every month, maybe you put a video in there bi-weekly, maybe you put a video in there every couple of months, but you always add it to that playlist and you keep it going as an ongoing series on your channel. Lawless Baron says, hey, Nick, I had issues before. My videos lately have been getting pushed in the algorithm to the point that my analytics have doubled. Could this hurt search? No, as long as people are enjoying your content, it doesn't matter where they're finding it from. YouTube will keep putting it there. So if people are enjoying your content coming from search, then you'll keep getting search traffic. If they're enjoying your content coming from home pages, you'll keep getting homepage traffic. If they're enjoying your content from suggested videos, then you'll keep getting suggested traffic. If they're enjoying it from everywhere, then you're going to keep getting that traffic from everywhere. But if they stop enjoying it and they stop clicking on it, they stop responding to it in search, then of course you'll slowly get demoted, as time passes there. But as long as people keep responding to you from everywhere or from search, and you're trying to continue that search traffic, then you will continue to get that search traffic. So one of the things that you'll find for those of you that do make search-based content is that you'll find that like your browse traffic will probably go like this, your suggested traffic will go like this. But when it comes to search traffic, that search traffic is just kind of like this. So like search traffic can be really stable for a channel, and it can really help you pick up some serious momentum as you keep publishing more search-based content. Let's see here. I see your message, Doug. I'm looking for it right now. So let's see here. Lions Ground. Okay, Cowboy Cody says, how do I find if our old sheep song is in public domain? I already tried Googling it. Thank you. I'm not sure. So YouTube used to have like in their audio library, they used to have a place where you could actually search and figure out, like if you would get a copyright strike or a claim, or if it was free to use in the public domain. But I'm sure, I know there's a website for it, and I can't think off the top of my head what it is. Hopefully somebody in the chat can help with this. But there is a website for it, but I can't remember off the top of my head of what it is that you can search for it. So unfortunately, I can't tell you what that is right now. Hopefully somebody in the chat will be able to help us with this one. But off the top of my head, I just can't remember what the name of that website is. Let's see here. So the next one, I think that, let's see here, from Cody Cowboy, we got Fire Queen. We got that one. We got that one. Yeah, I think that should have us caught up. Okay, yeah. So let's see here. Cowboy Cody did a few of them there. So Cowboy Cody, sorry it took me so long to get to that. Yeah, it was like over an hour ago. Sorry about that. And yeah, so I think that was the I think that was it. Okay. So as I scroll down to the bottom of this here, Weary Ox Official, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. So here, next question that we have, I'm going to pull this one from the forum. Then we are going to, and then we're going to pull it back into the, we're going to go to the forum first, and then I'm going to go back into the chat. So go ahead and get your question ready. Don't drop the question yet, but after I'm done answering this question here in the forum, basically how this works. Songbird ASMR, what's up? Says that, so here, how do you use PicMonkey to make thumbnails more bright and colorful? So PicMonkey, I'm not sure, but typically like in Photoshop and, anything else, any apps, anything like that, typically you increase your brightness and you increase your saturation or vibrance. You can also do things to where you bring up like the midpoint as well, but it's going to be dependent on the actual image itself. But in some cases, you might need to bring up the midpoint, or you might need to bring up like the dark point of the video, like on the far, or not the video, but the image. Like if you're in Photoshop, it'd be on the far left, for example. But basically, what you need, PD info. Doug posted in the chat here, PD info is the name of that website. Doug, you are the man. Thank you. And hey, really quick, Doug just had a birthday. So can we get a happy birthday, Doug Huson, in here? Yeah, Doug had a birthday just the other day, and happy birthday to you, Doug. Hope that you had an awesome day, man. But yeah, this is the website right here for the public domain stuff. But yeah, so basically, raising the brightness, turning up the saturation or the vibrance, those types of things will add more color. So what you might want to consider as well, if you're using like PicMonkey, there's a free app called Snapseed that you can do a lot of this stuff in. There's another free app that's part of the Adobe suite, but you can use it for free. Is Lightroom on the mobile version. The desktop version you can't use free, but you can also do a lot of really cool things in there with your images to really bring everything up as well. So I can't really show this, but I was going to give you a quick demo on how to do it. But right now, unfortunately I can't. But basically like here, oh yeah, I guess I kind of can. This is going to be a little bit weird, but basically like, for example, in this image, see how it's kind of dark? If I take this and bring the exposure up, then I can, just kind of bump it up a little bit there. And then I can go over to, let's see here. I can go down to like the shadows, bring the shadows up a little bit. And what that's going to do is take some of those dark areas and kind of bring them up and reduce the shadows, like those types of things in order to just make it a brighter image overall. Kitty Robinson, what's up? Hope you're doing great. Says happy birthday, Doug Huson. Let's see here. We got some zodiac sign love coming through for Doug. That's awesome. Love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah. Happy birthday, man. Hope you had a great day. Okay. So next up on our list here, we are going to go into, in my opinion, Media TV. I think we did this one already. Yeah, we did that one already. So we will go into the next one, which is Blue Pastel Wings. Blue Pastel Wings says that they have an art channel. The goal of the channel is to reach 700 subscribers. And the question is, why are my videos boring? So your videos are probably boring because of either the time or the effort that you're putting into the content or the creativity that you're putting into the content. It would be, one of those things that would make the videos boring. So what I recommend that you do if your videos are boring is find how to make them unboring. And what I mean by that is learn how to edit your videos, learn how to actually record the content in a way that will make for a good edit. So I have a video on my channel that I put out recently showing a behind the scenes of the recording process that I go through. Of course, actually, if you're doing art, it's going to be a little bit different because you have more real time stuff that you have to do. But in some cases, of course, you can set some things up. But basically that particular video that I made is a great one to watch just to show the process that, the people go through for talking head content in order to make sure that you have enough material and enough good material that it ends up creating a good edit. Because if you don't have enough good material to work with, then it'll make it hard on the edit. So because of that, you have to, make sure that the stuff that you have to work with when it comes to the edit is good. Let's see here. So next up, we are going to go into what number are we on here? We're on 15 so far. This is good. We're like cruising through these. King CMC TV says they have a gaming channel. The goal is to get monetization. And the question, I have about 100 videos that not getting views from the last year. Should I delete those videos? I wouldn't. What I would do is I would just try to, focus on making good content coming in. And then once you start making some good content coming in, YouTube might suggest some of that old content, and then some of it might come to life once that happens. Okay, now drop your question. If you have a question, make sure you put a Q in front of it. I'm going to pull this one from the chat. So make sure that you put a Q in front of your question so that I can know that it is that your question is for me. I am Baleen. Thank you for the super chat there as well. And Wirex Official. Thank you also. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So let's see here, and I'm going to turn my lightning round button on here so that we can get that ready. And let's see here. So after watching your behind the scenes videos, I now wonder how long each of your videos took to record. Some of them take longer than others. That one took a while because I had to stop and then look at the camera and then kind of refocus on what I was doing and get back into it. So it was a little bit challenging in terms of jumping back and forth, but because since I was making it for a friend, I was like, it's fine. I'll dedicate that time all day long. Not a big deal. But typically I'll go through them faster. Just if I'm like focused on it, then it'll be like, hit record, done, say it again, say it again, say it again, say it again, and just gonna keep going through that rinse and repeat process. And it's typically pretty fast. But that particular one ended up, being slow just due to the back and forth. Let's see here. So the first question. Do you suggest having multiple videos scheduled to publish? Having my 4 videos for the month, I struggle with consistent uploading. If you struggle with consistent uploading, then absolutely getting ahead is going to be your friend. So I go in waves. I've actually been in a low wave recently to where I haven't been that far ahead. And in some cases, I've been like sliding in on the mark just to, make sure I'm getting things out there consistently. And I can tell you, just from, doing, tons of videos over the years that, having content ahead of time is going to work wonders on your mindset. So I would definitely do that. Next, looking for the cues here, so I know that they're for me. Says, what are your thoughts on running discovery ads to get more views? Would you risk targeting people who may not be interested in your channel? Technically, yes, you run that risk unless you know what it is that you're doing with ads. However, the only reason, like, if you're running ads in order to try to jumpstart the channel, the downside of that is that if you can't get an organic response on YouTube already, as soon as you turn those ads off, then people still aren't going to click. They're still not going to watch. So because of that, you need to learn how to do the stuff organically on YouTube first before you even consider ads. Like if you're using them to grow the channel, then you need to make sure that you're able to get that organic response first, because running ads doesn't make you make good content. Running ads doesn't make you write good titles. Running ads doesn't make you make good thumbnails that people respond to. So you have to make sure that you are focusing on those things first before you even consider running ads. I own a picture framing and yarn shop. Oh, that's cool. 2 businesses with very different content. Can I make it work on one channel, or do you recommend 2 channels? So framing and yarn. Personally, wrong one there. Personally, oh man, I like screwed it up now. Hold on. Now we're like purple. Like I don't even know what's going on. Okay. So here we go. Okay. And a picture framing yarn shop, 2 content. Can I make it work on one channel? I would do 2 channels. I would do, the framing one. Those people, like if you're selling the actual frames for people to make the frames, then in that case, I would have that as its own channel, and I would have the yarn shop if you're selling yarn on another channel. If you're trying to drive business with them, if you're doing it for the sake of like, hey, I'm trying to grow the channel and I'm trying to just grow a community online that loves to talk about yarning, then in that case, focus on yarning. If you're like, hey, I want to do it, people that talk about picture framing, then focus on picture framing. But I wouldn't mix those 2 just because they are pretty extreme. You'll probably end up, I'm guessing in terms of picture framing, there's probably a lot more yarn enthusiasts than there are picture framing enthusiasts. I would assume, because, after you frame so many pictures, you can only frame so many more unless you're a business framing. So because of that, if it was me, based on no research whatsoever, I would go the yarn route, just based on, people being interested in yarn. And I'm sure there's plenty of people interested in framing too, but I'm just saying, if you find that one has a way higher amount of people consistently into it, that would watch one video and then come back and watch more videos and would still be coming in and watching your videos 2 years from now, then in that case, that would be the content I would focus on. For the framing stuff, if those people would also do that, then I would have a channel for that too. But if not, then I would just focus everything. If it was me, I'd focus everything on the yarn stuff, because with those people, they are like, I would make the framing content. And with the framing content, I would make very specific videos that I would try to target for YouTube search. And the reason I would do that is because if you can get them to show up in YouTube search, then you can also get them to show up in Google search, Yahoo search, and all of that based on the video results. So I would make sure that I was, making those videos search targeted. I would also add chapters to those videos. And with the chapters, I would also make sure I'm optimizing the phrasing around the chapters for search as well. So you can come up for different snippets, things like that for the framing stuff, if the audience there isn't as big. And then for the yarn shop, that's where I would actually try to grow a community and all of that stuff. And that was way past my countdown timer. Let's see here. 624 Goat says, hey, Nick, I had a channel of 16,000, but I gained most of the subscribers from videos I wasn't happy making. So I switched niches and they're unsubscribing every time I post. So I made a new one. Is that bad? No, not at all. So like if you're like starting from scratch, then that's fine. You can also consider like if people are unsubscribing anyway, that's fine. Unlist some of the content from the other niche that you were doing before, and then just go full bore on the new stuff and just let the people unsubscribe as they come in. But I mean, that's a pretty hefty amount of people that you are going to end up losing over time. So because of that, if they're two drastically different things, then if it was me, I would start a new channel for it. Okay, so I'm going to hop back into the forum here really quick. Actually, first I have these super chats I'm going to do really quick, and then we're going to hop into the forum, and then we're going to come back to the chat. So the first one is, let me see if I can scroll up so I can put this one on screen. Let's see here. First one, heavy on the chai.
Super chat.
Says, hello, Nick. My channel is stuck at 585. It fluctuates. What can you suggest to help me? So if you're stuck at 585, I don't know if it's 585 views, 585 subscribers, not sure. But whatever it is that you're stuck at, the way that you get unstuck is by looking at the content that has performed well on the channel. So you have 500 subscribers. I'm guessing you don't have a lot of that content yet. So because of that, you need to find the videos that are bringing people in, look at the topics of those videos, look at the topics of those videos, look how you package the videos, look how people responded to those videos in terms of the retention, in terms of the subscriber conversion, in terms of likes that you've gotten, people sharing them, adding them to the playlist, all that stuff. And try to figure out what it is about that content that caused people to react to it in that way. And then keep making that content. So one thing that I can tell you is that YouTube does have like a seasonality to it, to where, you know, it's not always the case to where you start making content and keep publishing and you just go like this. Sometimes you go up and then you'll go down, then you go up and then you'll go down and then you'll go up. Like that's just part of the game. So, so because of that, like right now, if you're stuck, just give it time, keep making the content. But most importantly is don't just keep doing what you're doing if you're stuck, right? You have to think wider, and you have to think, okay, if I'm doing this and it's not going anywhere, then I need to work on making the videos better, making my hooks better, making my thumbnails better, my titles better. I need to work on, you know, making better content and developing the skills needed in order to make the better content and make the better packaging in terms of the thumbnail and title. I need to make sure that I'm working on the skills for that while I'm continually trying to make better videos for my audience, so that I can keep improving what I'm doing, so that the response that I'm getting from what it is that I'm doing can also improve along with it, right? Let's see here as we keep on going. Okay, so Rurox Official says, I live in Sweden and upload shorts to my channel, and I'm aiming to get them out there for the crowd in the US. What time would be the best to post shorts when you live in Europe? Stay safe. I'm in a similar boat. I'm in Thailand. So since I'm in Thailand, I also build everything around the US. So I'll typically publish somewhere, depending on the day of the week, I'll typically publish between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. local time. That is like the sweet spot for me to hit the East Coast and ride the country, right? As people are waking up and all that stuff. So I recommend that you do a similar time. So aim for, and that's 6 to 9 p.m. local time. So that is 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the East Coast in the Eastern time zone. Same exact thing for this live stream, right? I go live at 9 a.m. Eastern every Saturday for the US, because that's when, you know, people are getting up, everything's getting started. People have already, you know, the early birds have already been up, have their coffee done, whatever, worked out, you know, all the stuff they do in the morning. And then, you know, they're available, you know, for the live stream as well. So, you know, just do it when they're waking up or getting started over in the East Coast. JD Williams, how'd you go about getting traction for a local gym training studio via YouTube? So since it's local, in that case, I would just use ads, like if it's local. But if you are, you know, like if it's like in your city, I would just use ads. But if you're trying to, I would use ads. Plus, I would also make search targeted content for your area. And I would also make sure that you are adding the geo tag when you're putting that, when you're, you know, publishing that content as well. So inside of YouTube, you can also, you know, tell them, you know, the area that you're in as well when you publish the content, and then they'll put a little tag, you know, next to your title or underneath the video, I should say, that will, you know, that shows the location. I would do that if you're targeting locally, but I would be strategic about specific videos, you know, gyms. Like let's say that you were doing them in, let's say Cincinnati. Then in that case, you know, best gyms in Cincinnati. If somebody's looking for that on YouTube, or if they're looking for it on Google, first thing you want to do for this, since you're doing it for your business, first thing you want to do is hop on Google, look for all the different things, search for as many things as you can around your area that that you can think of that would help lead people into what it is that you're doing. But for Google, you want to do this and you want to look for the ones that show video results. If they show video results, write it down and say, okay, I'm going to make a video on this. And then you make that video and then you optimize that video for YouTube search. Hopefully it does well in terms of people responding to it well in YouTube search. And then you also, if you get it to rank in YouTube search, it can also show up in Google, Yahoo, the other textual search engines. So because of that, I would take a search-based approach for what it is that you're doing, but be very specific if you're only trying to get that local market. So, I would think of things not necessarily on like how to work out your biceps, but I would think of things like, best gyms in Cincinnati, best places to work out in Cincinnati. Let's see, what other things could people be looking for around that? Let's see here. If I go to Google, let's do best gyms near me wouldn't be a thing that you could do. But like right now, like I just put best gyms and then I see people are looking in Google for like best gyms in Houston, Austin, San Diego, Denver, Chicago, LA, Dallas, all that. So I'm just going to click on Houston here really quick. And I just want to see. Yeah. So here they're just showing textual results. They're not showing videos. Here, I'll just show you real quick. They're not showing videos. So therefore this one would not be one that you would want to go after, just to show you like a real life example of what I'm talking about. So like here, I typed in, like best gyms in Houston, but people aren't really responding to video content for that. So because of that, YouTube is just showing the textual search results. But if we did, let's do Houston gyms with pools. We'll do Houston gyms first and we'll see what comes up. Okay, no video results there. Then we'll do with pools. This typically works great with like lawyer content, but it does not look like it's looking good for you on the gym content. But basically, you would just keep coming up with things like this around your area until you did find stuff that had video results. And then, of course, next thing you'd want to do, here, let me pull this down, then I'll pull it back up, is you would want to go to YouTube and you would basically go through that same exact exercise and you would try to figure it out here. So we would do like gyms in Houston. And we're just taking that Houston approach to see what's going on. So here we've got boxing gyms in Houston. People are looking on YouTube. We've got gyms in Houston that people are looking for on YouTube. And then here, best gyms in Houston. Am I moving? Best gyms in Houston, Texas. From this person here, this gym is a sauna gym in Houston. Anyway, like, so you can see, some of the video results here that people are getting. So like in this particular case, gyms in Houston, I would target this search term and I would make this video if you happen to be in Houston, but if not, then I would do the same exact thing for your city. And the idea, and you want to do this with as many ways as you can possibly think of to look for this. Another thing that you can do for this is, let me go here. Let me go over to the Keyword Explorer. This is TubeBuddy. This is the thing that I'm actually wearing their jacket right now. They're a sponsor of this live stream, but they're a great tool for YouTube content creators. But what did I do for YouTube? Hold on. Gyms in Houston. So we're going to do that same thing here in the Keyword Explorer. I'm just going to do like gyms in Houston. And then here, yeah, it looks like people, best gyms in Houston, boxing gyms in Houston, and then you can go to Google, see what people are looking for here. Gyms in Houston Heights, gyms in Houston open 24 hours. Gyms in Houston with pools, and you want to start looking for these and you want to cross-reference these. You can just right click and it'll open in a new window. But you want to start looking for things like this around, your area. And then of course you'd want to go over to the video topics and you would want to see, okay, so not really much on the video topics there, but you would want to do this. You would just want to keep, let's see here, fitness in Houston. Oops. It'd help if I learned how to spell Houston. I think good thing Roger Wakefield isn't in here because he's a Texan. So me having this problem spelling Houston would not be good. Okay, so let's see here, fitness in Houston. Am I not spelling that right? Hold on. Houston. Let's just do this way. Fitness in Houston. Boom. Yeah, a lot of the same stuff coming up here. Visiting the most expensive gyms in Houston. That can be another thing too, like reviewing, gyms in Houston, things like that. And then kind of, framing yours, of course, because you're being honest here, because hopefully yours is the best. But you are, do like the best gyms in Houston where you go and you like kind of do comparisons, things like that. That's also a thing. But another thing to consider is I know that you have a gym, you're trying to drive traffic to that gym. So because of that, definitely using ads, also going after very specific search terms. But keep in mind that if you are making fitness content and and this is a really important thing to remember in this scenario, is if you are making fitness content and you are teaching people about fitness, then the thing is that over time, as your YouTube channel grows, then people are going to get to know that you're that guy in your city that has that YouTube channel about fitness. So to put this into perspective, my brother and I, we were visiting my mom. She lives in Arizona. We were visiting her, and we were at we were actually walking out of or into a Dick's Sporting Goods. And when we were walking either in or out, I can't remember which one it is. We'll just say in for the sake of saying it. But we were walking into Dick's. Okay, lost the mic, but I'm back. But anyway, when he, mentioned that guy, he recognized him from that channel, right? So you'll end up being that person where people will recognize you, but more importantly, it is over time, people will start to, as your YouTube channel grows and people start to be familiar with you, then the people that are in your area, they'll be like, oh, I didn't even know that, he owned that gym, and things like that. And then they'll start coming over that way as well. So what I would do in your case is I would try to build up the channel as a fitness channel, but I would also make very specific search targeted content as well. I would actually do the search targeted content on something else just so that you can get that over there. But then I would start to build your channel around just fitness, like tips in general, helping people out there, while also running ads on, Facebook and YouTube and all that to try to bring attention to what it is that you're doing. So I said a lot there. Hopefully you were able to get, some good information out of that. Good luck with your with what it is that you're doing. So let's see here. Next up on our list, I'm going to hop into the form for this one here. And it's from King CMC TV. Nope, we did this one. So we are going to go into the next one here, which is from Sweetie's Cat World. Sweetie's Cat World says that the content's about the cat. The goal is for people's amusement. And the question says, I just reached 100 subscribers and have been starting to get return subscribers who are leaving comments. How do comments affect your channel? Will it be more recognized by YouTube? Main question, do each response to a comment count as comments? So here's the thing. When people are leaving comments, those people are the most engaged in what it is that you're doing. The likelihood of those people coming back and watching more of your content is way more important than them just leaving a comment. Everything, like I mentioned earlier in the stream today, everything is tracked. So when somebody leaves a comment, just think of it as like a point, right? So it's like, if there was this big point system on YouTube, somebody subscribes to your channel, you just got a certain amount of points based on how YouTube weights that. In terms of the things that are by weight, I mean, YouTube puts more importance on some things than others. So if somebody subscribes to your channel, that would be X amount of points for that thing. If somebody leaves a comment, it would be, points for that. Somebody likes the video, points for that. If they make it to the end of your video, a lot of points for that. If they click on another video in your end screen, or a suggested video of one of yours as well, and they watch that, then you're getting a lot of points. Like it's on fire now, right? Like you're getting tons of points. So you everything that people do on your content matters, and it's all being tracked, and everything is important. Let's see here. Sweden, go on. Selling stock 55. Okay, so we got that one too. Okay, so next we're gonna go into the chat for this one. And so if you have a question, go ahead and drop it now. And I know, basically how I'm doing this is, like when I ask for that, some of you are going to get your questions answered as I'm going to click it and as I see it. But as I, like when we go back into the form, then I come back, then of course we, we'll start that whole process over again. So if you've got a question, now is the time. Okay, so Explode V2 says, I have a video. Since you're doing Explode, boom. So you have a video that gets about 25 to 50 views every day, but their likes, comments aren't growing. What does it mean, and how do I leverage it? So if you are getting views, but people are not responding in terms of comments or likes, if you're getting like 100 views, then that's normal, right? If you're getting like tens of thousands of views or thousands of views, but nobody's leaving a comment, it means that typically either your comments are turned off, or it means that, just people are not really resonating with what it is that you're doing. Or it could also mean the specific type of content that you have isn't really worthy of comments. Not that it's bad, but let's say, for example, pretty much everything gets comments. So, but one of the things I was going to say is if you have a certain type of, content that, let's say that it's a really short video, maybe it's not necessarily a YouTube short, but let's say it's like, like a minute and a half, and it just shows people how to do something like really specific, really quick, or just shares something, really quick, then in that case, maybe the video happens and it's finished like way, like it all happens so fast that people don't really have much time to interact with it. That's what I mean. So, so there's that. Right. So if you're not getting, much interaction, then, you're not making that much of an impact with the people that are watching, or you're in one of those scenarios to where you're just not getting enough views yet to convert in terms of, people leaving comments, or you have the type of content that just doesn't, typically garner a lot of comments in terms of that shorter example that I was talking about. Let's see here. So Mr. Talius, what's up? Hope you're doing great. Says, I don't know if this is normal, but for some reason, when I make videos, I get decent views and subscribers every day. But when I don't upload, I get little to no views and subscribers. Yeah, it's pretty normal, actually. So, so YouTube, they have this thing to where they, make sure that they publicly say that, that it doesn't matter, take breaks, kind of do whatever you want with your YouTube channel, and the amount that you publish doesn't necessarily impact the results that you're going to get from your YouTube channel. I actually would like to go against that and say that that it is common, at least from the channels that I have worked with in the past, my channels, the channels that I have access to, like when people start publishing less, even if they have high performing content, when people start publishing less, they seem to start getting less recommendation traffic is what I've found. So, if it's super high performing, then in that case, like home pages or suggested videos, like that video might still be okay. But in terms of overall as the channel, not just a piece of content, but overall as the channel, I've typically found that if people don't publish, as often, or if the content that they are putting out is just like low response, then in that case, the amount of impressions that they're getting in suggested goes down. The amount of impressions that they're getting on home pages typically goes down until they get back into like a normal groove again. And then things will, slowly start coming back up. So, so when it comes to that, just keep in mind that, when you do take like long breaks, it can have a negative impact. In some cases, it won't be that big of an impact, just depending on where your traffic's coming from. Like if you have a whole search-based channel and you're not getting much recommendation traffic anyway, then it'll be relatively stable. But if you are, like kind of living and dying by the recommendation features, then if you don't keep your schedule together, then in that case, you might find that your recommendation traffic takes a hit. So Roberto Blake says the truth is that long breaks lead to declines in reach and viewership. Yep. Yeah. And you also have the people coming back as well. Like, you also have the people coming back as well in terms of, like if you don't publish that often, like if you have high performing content, where you have loads of people coming in and interacting with your content, then you have the recency there. But when you're not publishing, and if you don't have that large amount of people coming in, and you don't have a lot of people that have recently interacted with the channel, then it can also be harder to, get things going again. Her Infinite Wisdom says, I only have 38 subscribers after being consistent for only about 2 months. Can you take a look and tell me what I should focus on? So I'm not looking at channels today. So basically, I pulled up 2 just for my own context, to be very specific about, something that I was answering. But I'm not just, looking at channels randomly, today. We do that, in our members only group. So basically one of the things as a channel member is, in our members only Facebook group, is I have a post there, to where everybody posts their YouTube channels, or they post their YouTube channels and they post a very specific thing that they want feedback on. And then during the live streams that we do over there, when I do those streams, I'll go in and I'll look at, it could be one channel that we go deep on. It could be 2 or 3 channels or 4 channels, depending on, what it is with the channel. But basically we go through and we look at different channels and we give, tips on things that they can do to improve. That's the place to do that. Let's see here. So which is better? Creating search-based content or shooting for recommended content? Depends on your goals of the channel. So like if you're doing affiliate marketing, then in that case, mixing the 2 is the best approach, but there's very specific things that you need to be doing in search, for, to make sure that you're securing those positions for long-term gains. If you are making like entertainment content, then in that case, going after specifically, like, hey, I'm going after recommendations. I don't care about search. If you're doing entertainment content, if you're teaching people how to do stuff, mixing it up, is a good approach. So then that way you can do search for stability. And then you are, you do other content for the sake of, just recommendations, trying to learn how to get people to click, when they're not expecting to see your content. So, part of content strategy, which, if you're just getting started, you might not have ever even heard people talk about content strategy. But part of the thing with content strategy is being intentional about the videos that you're publishing and thinking about that. Thinking about, okay, for what it is that I'm trying to do with the channel. And if you don't know what it is you're trying to do with the channel, watch my video on if YouTube is worth it or not. It's the last video that I published on the channel. But basically, when you are publishing content to your channel, first, you got to think of like, what is it I'm trying to do here? And then once you know what it is that you're trying to do, then you start thinking in terms of content strategy of, okay, what videos do I need to make and where do I need to target those videos? How do I need to frame those videos in terms of the value that people are going to get? And, which videos am I going to be making for search for the specific reasons and which videos am I going to be making for recommendations for the specific reasons for those? So, you need to think about content strategy and you need to be intentional about the content that you're putting out and what it is that you are going for. But here's what I can tell you is the majority of traffic on YouTube comes from recommendation features, even though that, a lot of people come to YouTube and they actually look in YouTube search. Like search is great. And I'm not discounting search. It's an awesome traffic source. And you can grow as channels that just rock from YouTube search. However, a majority of the traffic comes from YouTube search. And one example that I want to give for this, or one reference, is that when it comes to YouTube search, if you made a video today, unless like something major happened in the world and people are looking like en masse for it, like let's say like some artist just put out a song and you happen to be the first person to rank for that, like right after they publish it, like your review of it, then in that case, you might get a lot of traffic like right out of the gate. But in most cases, with most pieces of content, if you target YouTube search, when you publish that video, the likelihood of you getting 100,000 views within the next 24 hours, or maybe even 10,000 views or 15,000 views in the next 24 hours is going to be relatively low. However, when it comes to recommendation traffic, you can get that, within the next, 2 hours. If you have a high response piece of content, you can get that within the next hour, you can get that within the next 2 hours, you can get that within the next 24 hours, depending on, the market for your content and all those other variables. But at the end of the day, if everything was, the same, if everything was equal, the amount of traffic that you can pull for recommendation features over the next week compared to what it is that you can pull from search over the next week is going to be substantially different. So long term, on the other hand, search, like even though one might pop in recommendations features and then kind of fade out, search is great for long term. That's why I'm always talking about making sure that if you're doing anything as an affiliate, that you're considering search and that you are putting out search-based content for some of your content as part of your strategy. Because in addition to YouTube search, where you can be pulling in, viewers that are considering making a purchase on something in that particular case, when you're pulling them in on the affiliate side, then that video, if you get a video or a few videos in good positions in YouTube search, it can change your life in terms of, what you can generate from it. When it comes to search, you also have that you can show up in Google search. You can show up in Yahoo. You can show up on Bing. You can show up, in all the places that show video results, and all the terms that show video results. You can show up there, and you can also pull substantial amounts of traffic there as well, if you're, promoting something as an affiliate, or if you're just targeting search in general. So, it definitely has its place, and search, is powerful. But you just have to make sure that, when it comes, it's not that you want to think of either or. You want to think of, for my content, for what I'm trying to accomplish with my channel, what's the best approach to take? Do I need to be making more things that I'm targeting for, recommendations, or I need to make more search targeted content, and then, move forward from there. Callister, sorry.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that you go to Nimmin VIP. That is our, that's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group. I'll put it on the screen right here, but that's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you're a member, and I'll let you in right after this stream. And we also have Heimbad, also is a new member, same exact thing. Just go to Nimmin VIP. And just a heads up, anybody that's going to go there and like try to get in, I do verify all this stuff on the way in, so you're just wasting your time. But if you are a new member, go to nimminvip.com, fill out all the information on the way in. I'll verify you after this stream is complete, and then I'll let you in. And make sure when you go in there, if you do want me to, give you feedback on your channel, make sure that you, it's announcement number 7. So basically in Facebook, in the groups at the top, you have announcements. So as announcement number 7, I have there to where you'll see a bunch of channels listed. Just make sure that you put your channel in there. But in addition to that, also make sure that you are specific about what it is that you want me to look at. Because if you're not specific, then what can happen is I'll go in there and I'll start giving you a bunch of tips on things that you might already know or things that you don't care about or whatever. But if you're specific, like, hey, could you give me feedback on my thumbnails? Could you give me feedback on this or whatever? Then in that case, I can go and I can target that thing that you're actually needing help with instead of going and talking about a bunch of things in your channel that might not necessarily, that you might already know, you might already be working on or whatever. So it just works out better for everybody, just being specific like that. My other lights aren't changing there. Okay, now let's try. There we go. Okay, so let's see here. Next up on our list, yeah, it's 10,000. Neil says, how many? What size do you need to have 10,000 for stories? Yeah, it's 10,000, and with those, they are useful. So I can't remember the stat off the top of my head. It's like 8% or 18%. I can't remember. But basically, channels that use stories, they generate subscribers at a higher rate than people that don't use stories. In addition to that, as a story, and you can actually see this if you go and look at my stories right now, and I'll show you here. In addition to the, sharing it out and giving people, some behind the scenes, of what it is that you are doing, that kind of stuff. In addition to that, I'm trying to get to my channel here really quick. You can also, okay, actually looks like I need to make a story because it looks like I'm out now. But anyway, so recently I shared a video as a story. So one thing that you can also do is you can also use those stories to bring man, this person. Okay, you got him. Thank you. So basically what you can do is you can use stories to also loop people back into your content to start them, as a session on your channel, which is great. So let's see here. So yeah, I apologize for the spam that we just got there. Thank you. Thank you guys for taking care of that. I appreciate it. So let's see here. So next up on our list, I'm going to hop back into the forum, and then I'm going to hop back into the chat here. And in the forum, we have Rexapod. Says they have a gaming channel. I want to help people, but also make people laugh. Question: I don't have a microphone. This is a major problem. I usually just upload a video with text on the screen, or I upload raw footage. My birthday's coming up this October, and I'm trying to get a mic. What should I do in the meantime? If you've got a phone, record like this. Like make your gaming content. I don't know if you're I don't know if you're doing it live or like what your thing is, but if you are recording your gaming content and then you're bringing it into your computer, and you are because you're putting text on it. So because of that, you want to get the audio in your phone. So just download an app that will let you record audio and export audio out of your phone, and just get your phone relatively close to your mouth and talk. The audio that you're going to get out of this is going to be more than acceptable for people that are going to be consuming your content. Just make sure that, that you have the room that's quiet. If you need to go into a closet and do it or whatever, you can, but just make sure that the environment that you're in is closet. Another little hack for you is like, if you are somebody that is living with somebody or something like that, or you have air conditioners going and you can't process your audio after, if you just get a blanket. And I know this sounds crazy, but trust me here. If you get a blanket and let's say that you have your phone, get a blanket. You could do this in your bed if you want. You could do it, you bring the blanket into, where your computer is, whatever. But get a blanket, put it over you, and then record your audio. And then that'll keep out a lot of the outside stuff. It'll keep your voice from bouncing all over the room, and it'll keep your audio really focused and really clean going into your phone. It's a little hack there for you. We're X official. Super. Wrong one. Also wrong one.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that you go to nimminvip.com. It's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group right here. Fill out all the information on the way in, and I will add you as soon as the stream is complete. I'll actually do it when we go into chill mode. So basically, at the end of these streams, sometimes we go into chill mode for those of you that are hanging out right now. Sometimes we go over to chill mode. Sometimes I'll come back in. Sometimes I won't. But we go into chill mode, just play some music and stuff after the stream. Marcus dropping the blankets work thing right there, kind of getting some endorsements on that one. So that's good. Natural Laricia. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if not. Laricia.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Same thing. Just make sure that you go to nimminvip.com, fill out everything on the way in so I can verify you here after the stream. So let's see here. Next on our list, we did the gaming channel. Let me go here. We've got Roland. Roland says they do a moto vlog and the goal of the channel is to share knowledge and experience. Shall I share links to my videos on YouTube, on Facebook groups of the same topic? Some videos that I share have much higher views. When I stop, how often to do it? Thanks. So if you have groups that are a perfect laser fit for what it is that you're doing, go ahead and share it. But what you want to do is you want to go into your analytics and you want to look and see how those people are responding to your content. So you can see in your external traffic sources, you can see the people that are coming from Facebook, how long they watch your videos for. If you find that they're just bouncing, then in that case, stop sharing. If you find that they come in, they share and they, or they come in and they actually, watch, a little bit of the content and they're enjoying it, then in that case, then you can go ahead and share in the Facebook groups if you would like. I like chill mode too, Brad. It's kind of what I do. I'll turn it to chill mode just while I'm letting in new members and, like that kind of stuff. And just kind of chilling, maybe I'll take a quick bathroom break, like that kind of stuff. So yeah, it definitely gets a little bit different when we go into, should we call that the after dark? No, because it's not after dark, but it'd just be like the after show mode. Okay. So here we go. We're going to lightning round right now. So, I was going to have guests on today, but the time got away from me. So it's almost 11 o'clock here local time. So we're not going to have guests on, but I am going to go into lightning round mode. So if you have a question, go ahead and drop it into chat right now. And we are going to, we're going to lightning round. So let's see here. So we've got, lightning round, like I'm a game show. What am I talking about? But we're going to go into the lightning round when it comes to answering questions. So right out of the gate, we got Draggle, crafts and more DIYs. My highest video CTR is 13.7. The title is Don't Miss Out on This Easy and Cheap Pumpkin Decor Idea. Is there anything else that I could do that I could add to make more clicks? I think it's a solid title. So I think the title's solid. I'm not sure what your thumbnail looks like. But if you're getting a 13.7, if you have a lot of impressions and you're still getting that 13.7, then that's fantastic. If you don't have, if you've got, if you have a small amount of impressions and let's say you've got 100 views on the video, then in that case, it's still good, but it's not as good as it might seem because as you get more impressions on your videos, it's harder to keep retention. It's harder to keep, higher click-through rates. So if you are getting a lot of impressions and you are keeping that, then you're going to be fine. I wouldn't touch it if you're getting a lot of impressions and you have a 13.7. But if you are, trying to make it better, I think your title's solid. I would just A/B test the thumbnail or something like that. If you're trying to, tweak that specific video. Let's see. And it just jumped on me here. So let me see. Hey, really quick. Also, so for today, so far, I just want to say, and I'll turn it back here so you guys can see this. Because you won't be able to see the detail. Actually, it's a little bit bright, so you can't see it anyway, right here. But anyway, so today's top chatters so far are Albitastic. So thank you for being the most engaged today on the chat. Doug Hewson is next up with 143. Rock Climbing Grandma at 87 chats. And Super Cooper Hobbies coming in at 56. And Shark Scrapper at 53. So those are the top ones today so far on the chat. So I just want to let you know that I appreciate that. In the future, once this system that I'm getting this information from, once this gets all figured out and ready, where I can actually show this stuff on screen, once all that gets figured out, I'm going to start actually, giving stuff away and things like that for, that type of engagement. So Albitastic, you're nailing it like every stream. So yeah, you're going to do, you're going to probably win all kinds of stuff. So next thing we have here is there an easy place in analytics to see which videos brought in each new subscriber? I've been searching and I can only find this if I go into videos individually. Absolutely, Jade. And give me 1 second and I will pull up my old channel, or not my old channel, my clips channel again. I'll actually show you. And let me go into YouTube Studio. And then I'm going to go into my YouTube analytics. Oops. I need to switch the account really quick. Hold on. In the meantime,
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Okay, once you are in your YouTube analytics, what you can do here is you can simply go, it would help if I showed this on the screen, wouldn't it? So share screen, window here and here. So once you go into your YouTube analytics, what you do here, and I'm going to take you down off of the screen so you can see, but this is all of your videos. So you go into advanced mode. Once you're in advanced mode, then right here, see where it says subscribers, you click that, and then it's going to show you the videos that have driven the most subscribers. And then of course you can do that by lifetime. You can do it by anything that you want, really. So like here, like 6,757 subscribers driven to this particular channel. And on here, this video right here, the how to grow the new one, has generated 393 subscribers on that specific video. So basically, if you sort it this way, this will show you the ones that have driven the most subscribers. So hopefully that helps. Next question. I'm just going to leave this one open, I think. Well, no, because I've got this one open too. I don't want to have anything weird happen here since I'm into both accounts. So let me go back into mine. Okay. So let's see here. So I'm going to close this back down here, go back over into this, and bam. Okay. So next question that we have here on this list is, I recently split my education from my cooking content. Didn't move videos, but created playlists on a new channel. Is that a good idea? So if you didn't move the videos, then that means that the people are still coming into your YouTube channel from the old content. So because of that, having the playlists over there isn't really doing you any good. So, so in order for that to matter, you would need to get the videos over there and basically remove them from your current one and move them over to the other channel if you're trying to, target two different audiences. Nishan Webb says, is it a good idea to include your channel name or own name if that's the name in the tags? So one thing that YouTube looks at is the relationship between content, and one of the little things there is the tags. Even though those aren't the most important thing, they're actually the least. By having those types of things in there, it's just one of those little tiny details that might help create that connection. It used to be something that we did like religiously, like old school, but the way things are working now, I do it kind of like is just kind of like an old habit more than anything. And I actually try not to do it on everything. But when it comes to adding your own name in there, that's more of just like a, like, hey, this is just one more thing. If somebody searches for my name or something like that, then this particular video might come up. That's kind of the idea. But, there is that relationship between content and, similar metadata can kind of help with that relationship. Most important is the videos that people watch together, but, those types of things can help with that, that relationship a little bit. But again, like in tags, like those things matter, but not really that much. So it's more important instead of trying to make sure that you go through videos and you add your name and all that stuff. Like it's way more important to think like, okay, how can I put this content in a playlist that I can drive people into so they're watching content together? That's going to be a much better use of your time than like updating tags. Let's see here. How do I grow my channel? Focused on reading, writing, and books. I'm consistent, use tags, cross-link, all that good stuff. So like I just mentioned, when it comes to the tags, those are like the least important thing. So in order to grow your channel, you need to make sure that you're making videos topically that people care about in terms of the topic of the video. You need to make sure that you're packaging them in a way that helps the people that you're trying to reach that are also into reading, writing, and books, that helps them recognize that your content is something they might be interested in. So they'll click on it. And then once they click on it, then of course you got to make good content so that they'll keep watching. And then of course the other things matter too, in terms of, hopefully some of those people will subscribe so that you'll send those positive signals to YouTube. Hopefully some of those people will leave comments. Hopefully some of those people will, like the video, things like that. But the idea is you grow your channel based on the content that you're publishing. So if your channel's not growing, then either one, you just haven't put out enough content yet, or two, that you are just not putting out content that people are responding to enough compared to the other content that YouTube has the option to show people. So because of that, you have to focus really hard on getting your content to a competitive level first. And then once it's at a competitive level, that's when the doors really start opening with what it is that you're doing. But just being consistent is good. And, cross-linking, basically driving people into playlists and all that is good as well. but you got to make sure that people are responding positively when they come in and they do watch your content. You got to make sure that they're clicking on your content at a competitive rate as well. Make sure you put a Q in front of the question so that I know it's for me. That's the only thing that I ask for these questions. So it's all free. You don't have to pay money to get your question asked, anything like that. The only thing that I ask is that you put that Q there so that I know that it's for me and that you're not asking somebody else. How long would you wait before an animated CTA on a music video? So on a music video, let's say that you have let's say it's like a 3-minute song. I would wait until you're like, if you're making the music, the points of music, because I dabble in music as well. So the point in your song to where it kicks in, or it either evokes some type of emotion or the groove comes in real hard or something like that. I would do it shortly after that. So I don't know, I can't remember his name because it's Mark something, because it's hard to remember his name because the back, the last part of his name. But I've been watching his content and I knew it would show up if I just opened my homepage. But him, Mark Ribole, I've been watching him tons recently. He actually inspired me to buy the device that he uses, and I had to hunt it down all over the place. It's going to be a while until it gets here. But I actually bought the device he's using so I could play around with it. But this guy, I watched here, let me take this down and I'll go in and I'm just going to give this example here really quick, just because it's funny. Actually, I don't have to show it to you. But basically, he did an interview on H3H3. So if you look for his name in H3H3, it'll come up. But there's one part to where if I had not watched him before, the groove on this song came in so hard that it almost hurt. And if I had never experienced him before, that would have been the moment to drop that graphic in there, because that would have been the moment. I would have subscribed anyway, but that would have been the moment to where if I was like, oh my God, this is so good. If I would have been having those feelings and then I saw that thing pop up on, hey, remember to subscribe or subscribe for more. Then I would have I couldn't have hit that button fast enough. Right. So, and I actually, he didn't have those calls to action in his video, but in some of those environments, or some of those situations, I was like, hey, yeah, this dude's awesome. And I subscribe to him. But basically, the idea is if you're going to drop those sorts of things in your videos, drop them either once the content is in there a little bit and people see the value that you're bringing, or in your case with music, drop it at an important part of the song or right after an important part of the song. So once people are impacted, and when you're designing the song, so when you are when you're oh, this drop right here, people are just going to lose their minds when this comes. Then right after that is where you want to give them a moment to freak out and realize what happened with the song, and then drop that, then drop your animated subscribe call to action in there. Let's see here. Hey, my pleasure. Glad that you're enjoying it. People leaving after 30 seconds, is that normal? No, you want to keep people watching. So it's normal for you to have some type of drop in the beginning. It's also normal to have a drop and then kind of a gradual decline on the video. But if you find that your retention, people are coming in and you just get a drop and then you're that's it, or they come in and then over that first 30 seconds, during that time everybody's gone, then in that case you really need to work on your content, unless your content's a minute long. But even still, if they're leaving after that 30 seconds, then yeah, you need to work on your content. Let's see here. I have a question for a friend. You're a member, so I'll let you slide with not doing the queue. So VIP, right? So I have a question for a friend. Does one get the super chats if they got a claim or a strike, or does it go to the person? Or does it go to the person who strike claimed? Oh yeah. So if it's on the thing for the strike, then any revenue generated from that song would go to the rights holder. Let's see here. So really quick, Eileen Smith, what's up? Hope you're doing awesome. Says I love being an Illuminati member for 21 months. Nice. Thank you, Eileen, for the support, and thank you for being a part of the community. I appreciate it. If you're live streaming on YouTube and people are active in the chat, does that affect how much more likable you'll be by YouTube's algorithm? Totally. So just like everything else, if you are streaming and people are sharing it, people are liking it, people are thumbs up, they're commenting a lot, they're donating, things like that, then absolutely, it's all positive. There we go, back. So if you are Dr. D4, thank you. Thank you, says live, nice live, Nick, as always. Thank you for that. Thank you for the kind words. But basically, like if people are watching for a long time, like that enough. Well, if they're clicking on it and watching it, that enough will cause YouTube to show it to more people. But if they're also engaging like crazy, then all of those things add up to a to a positive. People are having a positive experience with what it is that you're doing. Therefore, YouTube will continue to show it to people. Yeah, it should be okay. Oh, it's not just muted. Let me know if it's back. So what happened last time is it went crazy. It went like the flicker happened, and then it went crazy for a little bit, and then it went back to normal. So I'm just seeing if that is seeing if that's what happened. Okay, so are we good on the audio? There we go. Back now? Okay. All right, good. Okay. With the delay and everything, like it's hard with the feedback. So on that note, I want to thank everybody for hanging out in the stream today. I hope everybody learned, something from what it is that we do here during the stream. I also want to let you know, because I do know that a lot of you are just getting started on YouTube, and I want to let you know that, there's a lot of stuff that you got to do, a lot of stuff that you have to learn. But at the end of the day, make sure that as you're learning all this stuff, make sure that as you're, applying all the different things that you learn during the live stream, remember to have fun. Like it's really easy to hear me talk about like, hey, if this isn't working, make sure you're modifying this and doing this. Like at the end of the day, you want to continue doing what it is that you love to do, but you also want to make sure that you are making, small modifications where you need to in order to create a better experience for the people that you're making content for. Because, at the end of the day, if we're uploading content, we want people to enjoy it. So, because of that, you want to make sure that you are fine tuning things, but, don't do it at the expense of like, hey, I'm going to have to make a completely different type of content, that I'm not going to enjoy making just so I can get viewers to be happy. Don't do that. But, make sure with the thing that you do enjoy making, though, make sure that you are willing to, make those, fine adjustments in order to help the viewer have a better experience with what it is that you're doing and to find your content as well. But another thing that I wanted to remind you of as well, because you are just getting started, for those of you that are, because I know there's other, there's successful channels in here too. But basically, if you're just getting started, if a lot of the things that I was talking about today, if you got like a lot of information, don't go and just try to like do everything all at once. Like just pick some things, right? Just pick a thing or maybe two things and just focus on them, right? And just try to do those things and understand those things as best as you can. Like, for example, how I showed you today, two things in analytics. I showed you how to look in your traffic sources to figure out, like how people are responding from the different places that YouTube is bringing viewers from, or that they're showing your content. Go and find that and look at it from your videos, and go and look at a handful of videos and try to figure out like, oh, okay, well, this is how people are responding from these different traffic sources. And then try to think of why that might be. So just a quick tip for you is if you find that like you're not getting any suggested traffic, then in some cases it can just be because your thumbnail has too much going on in it. And at a small size in some of the features in YouTube, people just can't see it properly. So you might just need to update that. Or it could be that your title is getting truncated and it's getting cut off in some of the suggested videos, and therefore people just can't get any context to what your video is about. So like when you notice things like that, where you're like, wow, I'm getting nothing from here, then, just start looking at what it is that you're doing and try to unpack why. But, same exact thing for figuring out which videos drift subscribers, go in and find that so that you can see where it's at. So if you need to know where that metric is later, you can go in and find it. But besides that though, have an awesome rest of your week. Have an awesome weekend. I know for a lot of you, over in the States, you guys are just getting started for today. So have a great Saturday. Have a great rest of your weekend. And I will see you next time. And we are going to go ahead and slide into the after party here for the remainder of this. You're more than welcome to hang out here and just kind of vibe out to some music as you want, as I just kind of chill out and let in channel members and stuff. And if not, then I will see you next week at 9 a.m. Eastern. Make sure that you do visit the sponsors down in the video description as well. Big shout out to TubeBuddy and StreamYard for sponsoring the stream. I also want to shout out, Camtasia as well. TechSmith, Camtasia, great screen recording software. And I also want to shout out Placeit.net as well, and Spreadshop. With all of their support, they all make this this live stream possible, and it makes it easy for me to come in here and do all this stuff for free. So one thing I'm noticing is that my audio, because I'm trying to get my audio together here. Give me 1 second, because it looks like that flicker might have caused something weird with my browser. It's okay. I'll just close it and open it up again, and we'll go from there. Okay. Let's go to, because I pulled this music that I'm getting ready to play. I pulled this from Epidemic Sound. So we are going to go up here, going to search, find some good jams to listen to. We'll click on here, and I hope this works. Oh, it looks like, yeah, it looks like it's not working like at all. Okay, there's more than one way to skin this cat. Give me 1 second, and I'm just going to pick some random ones here off of my computer. So that's on. That's on. That should be picking up. Let me try to do it this way. Now let's Bluetooth it in. So this is what the after party looks like. Typically, we've got music playing right now, but I'm having a technical problem. So hang tight. Logging in from another device, and then I'll just pipe it in via Bluetooth. Because we don't stop here. We just figure out how to do it. Okay, let's go to some chill stuff. And let's go to here. Click here. And oh, my Bluetooth is down too. Look at that. So it's the machine. I'm restarting the machine. There we go. Got it. Mission accomplished. Gonna mute my mic here while I'm letting in channel members and whatnot. Mr. Camera Junkie says he's been binging Loop Station Beatbox Battles. So yeah, so they have a new one coming out. They have the new Boss RC 505. That's what they use for that, the 505 Loop Station. So they have a new one coming out. I went ahead and ordered the old one just so I can go ahead and play with it and like figure it out. But the new one is supposed to be pretty cool too. But check out that Mark dude. He's on fire. Like he's out of control. He's so good.
Wait, tell me what to do.
Spammers. I tell you what, I think it's that's probably a bot, because I know some people are complaining on Twitter about that specific bot. So yeah, it's unfortunate. What's more unfortunate is that people actually click on that stuff, or they actually fall for that stuff. as a follow-up, because I'm doing this, I'm looking this up so I can share it as a resource for one of the members that asked a question. But basically, before I couldn't find the percentage on the stories because they just wanted follow-up information on that. So right here in the according to, I'll turn the music up here just a little bit. But basically, it's here in the YouTube Creator Academy. They say YouTube stories don't just help creators connect with their existing subscribers, but also help find new ones. On average, creators that have an active story can accelerate their weekly new subscriber count by 8.5%. So I just wanted to share that with you guys that we're here for that part of the stream. A+ Russian, great question. If they leave spammy comments, if it's spam, if you believe that it's spam, then report them. Yeah, like you want to keep your comment section clean, because you know how we always talk about viewer experience for your videos. Your comment section's the same. Like, like if you go and you want to participate in the conversation and you go down there and you see a bunch of garbage, then you'll be like, like not even gonna hang out here, right? So because of that, you want to try to keep your comment section, just under control, the best that you can. And YouTube has built-in tools for that, that help a ton. They have the blocked words list. They have the option where you can hide URLs and other links as well. So I would definitely just make sure that you are, trying to keep everything as managed as you can, for your community. Dude, Neil. Yeah, man, that's exactly what you want to use the stories for. So I'll actually, Neil, because I just shared it in the Facebook group, which you're in there anyway. But I'll send you a Facebook message right now, Neil, and I'm going to share this link with you about stories, since you're rolling up on the feature. Sent. Good question. In terms of a white list, no, but they do have a black list of sorts called your blocked words list. So basically what you want to do, if you find that they are, taking comments down, then just go into, it creates a little bit of more work for you, but you can go into the held for review area on your YouTube channel, and you can just approve the comments. So you can do it on mobile, you can do it on a computer as well, but you can just go in there and approve them. I don't know if I have a video about stories. I think I might. I'm not 100% sure, but basically just think of like Instagram stories or Facebook stories or Snapchat. And it's very similar. Essentially what it is, it's where you can give like little snippets of information to people. They expire after 7 days. And you can, share whatever, like you can share stuff about your life. You can share, whatever you want. Like, one of the things that I'll do typically, and I'm trying to use mine more, just for, fun or whatever. But one of the things that, I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get in the habit of sharing another video, in there, every week. And in addition to that, just kind of like answer questions and, like that kind of stuff. Sharing little things, like, for example, I shared recently for people that are like just tired of like light stands being all over their place and like cluttering up the place. Like, for example, I shared, let me close this down real quick. But for example, like I shared, like these things and like some of the mic arms that I use, just sharing that, like, you don't have to have all those light stands and stuff all over the place. Like, if you're in a place to where you can like put stuff in the walls, then in that case, you can hang stuff from the ceiling with these. You can, put stuff on the walls and mount lights to this. You can get like an arm and mount cameras to this on the wall. Like, you can really, get rid of your tripods and your light stands and all that stuff. Like, it's not needed these days. They have so many other things for it that you can keep your place clean. Like if you're like me, if you have, any type of area that you make content in, there's a really good chance that you also use that area for other stuff. Like me, like I live stream here, I make videos in here, but I also, I'm in here on the computer, I work in here. So since I'm in here on the computer for work also, I want to come in here, I want to feel good. I don't want light stands and stuff like that being all over the place. Like, I still have this big light here that is kind of like an eyesore, but this one right here, it's kind of an eyesore. But besides that though, like when I walk in here, like I don't have to like, I have a bunch of tripods that I have to walk around and a bunch of big like soft boxes all over the place. Like it's, everything is off the floor. So my floor is, clean, and it's easy to clean without having to move stuff around all over the place and all that. So, so just little things like that for the stories. Great question. So go watch my very first video on my YouTube channel. Just go watch the very first video on my YouTube channel. So, so the question here is from Flying to Disaster, said, what would you say to nervous to show their face YouTubers? So when I first decided to YouTube, I didn't want to show my face either. I didn't want to be that guy on camera. I didn't think that people would respond positively to me. It was just a thing in my brain. And because of that, I almost didn't do YouTube. Could you imagine? Like the way that YouTube has impacted me? Like I can't even imagine if I wouldn't have done this. But basically, like when like if you're nervous about it, I encourage you to go watch that first video, because in a nutshell, you're nervous about it because of all the things that you're imagining that can happen from being on camera. And since you are imagining all those things, you're creating this big event in your brain about how people are going to respond to what it is that you're doing, or you're kind of projecting your own insecurities into your work in that case, which would be your YouTube. And when you try to, peel all of that stuff back, and you go for it and you start putting out content, you'll quickly realize that nobody thinks the same way. Like all the judgment and, all of that stuff that you might fear initially, once you get going, like eventually, like, videos, it's just something that you do and everybody knows it. So even though you might have, like some person might give you a hard time, like a good buddy or something might give you a hard time, outside of that, like, everybody else, like they, it's normal to be on camera. So, because of that, I wouldn't worry about it, but I would watch my very first video on my YouTube channel. I almost didn't publish it, but I did. And then I kept going from there. So, so I definitely recommend that you watch that. But I also have videos on my channel about how to make videos without showing your face. So, so you can check those out, as well. Just for some great solutions on how to make videos without showing your face. I think I've got 2 of those videos. Watch them both, because they both show different things, and different approaches to not showing your face. So. So I got this the other day, and I meant to use it today, but I completely forgot about it. Figured this would be fun for like milestones and stuff. Of course, you wouldn't see somebody get banned for it because you don't work at YouTube. So, so people do it. Some people get away with it for longer than other people, but eventually, eventually reality comes knocking, and you know, you can't you can't how am I gonna say this? Like a rule is a rule, and once you are violating that rule, and once it gets discovered, that's where you pay for it. Hopefully, you don't grow like a big YouTube channel before that happens. Hopefully, it happens before you get any traction. If you're using that practice, because it's against the community guidelines, and you'll get nailed for it. Fantastic question. So, so basically, when we're recording in clips, then what you do is you edit everything together, and processing the audio is pretty much the last thing that you do. So you work everything around like the rough audio, and then you export the audio. And when you export that audio, then you process it, and then you bring the whole thing back in. So you export it as one big long track. It's what I do. You export it as one big long track, process it, and then bring it back in. Thanks. Yeah, this is Epidemic Sound. I think I've got a link to them down in the description. But I think through that link in the description, I think you get like a month for free, I believe. So the software that I use, it's called StreamYard, and in that software, is this not playing? It looks like that stopped playing. I never even thought of pausing that. There we go. So okay, so the questions on the screen, that's from StreamYard. So StreamYard is what I use to live stream this every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. But basically, with StreamYard, you see the comments. So here, I'll show you a preview. Now that we're in chill mode, we can go into, we can do these sorts of things. So basically, this is going to look a little bit weird here as we go into it. But basically, I'm going to take yours off. But you'll see right here, in order to take yours off, your comment is, uh-oh, did I lose it? There it is. Your comment is right here, right? So you can see when I hover over this, how it says hide. If I click on this, then it's going to hide your comment. If I come up here, let's say that I want to highlight the fitness boss. Then here I click this, and then fitness boss shows up. So this is all inside of StreamYard. Another thing with this too is you can also customize some of this. Like if you go into the brand area over here, you can see like I'm working on this right now. It wasn't ready for this stream, but I'm working on like some video
Superchat.
like that kind of stuff for this. But you can play, videos.
Check, 1, 2. I'm B to the G, it's easy to see what you need, it's attention from me. I'll give you the shout, get back on the grind and you'll be down for the count, trying to breathe. Your favorite is me, now you hate with the diss. All of that hair hanging there like a chick, man give me a break. You're standing too close to the camera like Nick. Where is the claim that you say Filmora is hate? Call me a thief for the titles you hate. I taught you the rank, you seem to forget it. I hit it and quit it, and you try to walk in my wake. I'm tossing you weight, giving you shine, giving you clout by doing this with my time. And what I'm about, why I'm your guide. You come to my console, but now you're denied. You wanna throw shade. It's too late, I already got it made. You wanna bring hate. Hit the road, hater, cause I'm not phased.
If you're messing with G, you're messing with me. The name is Nimmin, I'll bend in a knee. Disturbing the peace, I'll come back into battle and murder a beat. I heard you eat worms like a bird, like a tree. Just like these words of defeat. I think Beanie should draw you and make you a T. They're waiting on me, who's waiting on you? If it wasn't for Johnson, you wouldn't have views or a clue. You wouldn't know what to do. The only extremes I see is your food. This is just weak, yes, I mean to be rude. Change of your scene, technique, everything about you and the future you seek. It's bleak, I don't mean to allude to the fact that you racked up a debt with the best in this feud. You just got wrecked by the crew.
You wanna throw
You know, it would have been way easier if I had my audio on for that. But basically, I'll go through it again really quick. Well, this is playing here in the background. Troy Stars Trucking Vlogs, thank you for the
super chat.
Thank you for the super chat there. I appreciate it. But basically, what was I saying? Oh yeah, like with the all those different things, like you can add graphics to it, like I was doing here. That one's like for the podcast, just little overlays, you know, that you can make, little things like this. I've got this thing that pops up here in the corner that I can click on, and I'll add up there. The rule of thirds, right? So I can click on that to make sure that I'm like, you know, in the right place for the stream, that kind of stuff. But basically all of that happens here. But like you were talking about putting the comments on the screen, you can also change how they look. So before it just had the little red line with this. Now if I change it to, let's change it to bubble. And then if I go back to the comments, if I do this, then now you can see it's a different display, right? So you know, it's really versatile in some of the stuff that it can do. It's awesome. That's why I use it all the time. Callister. So what I want you to do, because I added you to the Facebook group, since you're a channel member. So what you want to do is make sure that you go in to the Facebook group. Here, I'll actually show you really quick so you can just kind of see. So what you want to do, is go into the Facebook group, and you're already approved. So what you want to do next is you want to come here, and then it says like new members. This is the, here, let me just scoot it over. New members, this is where you drop a link to your channel if you want me to look at it. When you do, and I say like, please be specific about what it is that you want me to look at. But basically, if you just click into that, add your channel down here, and then ask the same exact question. And when you ask that question there, then during one of the live streams that I do over there, I'll pull your channel up, and basically it's a Zoom call. And if you make the call, that's cool. If not, then I upload the recordings over there. Every now and then I'll forget to hit the record button or something. But you know, most of the time the recordings make it in there. But basically, what will happen is you post your link to your channel and just say specifically what you want me to look at. Or in your case, if you're like, hey, I just don't know what's up. You know, can you help? Then in that case, I'll just, you know, give it an overview, and I'll just give you, you know, insights there. Yeah, these Tech Geek, these are coming from Epidemic Sound. Yeah, we're in chill mode here for the stream, so I just kind of have that playing in the background. I wouldn't say it does everything, but like, you know, like as you can see, like my stream is pretty advanced, right? So in terms of, you know, like what's going on here with all the different cameras and everything, and it handles this great. If I didn't have the switcher, then it would be a little bit different in terms of like the multi-cameras and all that stuff. But in terms of like, you know, streaming out, and it's actually better. Like if you know, bring in guests or anything like that, like it's better that way. And, you know, with the fact that it will let you bring in overlays and stuff, it's great that way. But a couple low points though is, I wish that they had the ability to play transparent MOVs, and so that you could trigger those. If they had that, then that would level it up like a gajillion percent. Just because when you can do the transparent MOVs, then you can actually have stuff come up over the screen, just like I have the graphics, and either WebM files or transparent MOVs, either one. But like that would be just fantastic for this. But like with guests, it's easier. Graphics and everything, it's easier. Like unless you're doing like just really advanced stuff, then it's definitely easier. Other little details as well, like for example, like I've got a thing on the stream that's being streamed back into that for this graphic back here. For that, in this view, when somebody subscribes to the channel, you'll see a little thing pop up here that says like, such and such subscribe to the channel. Welcome to the Nimminati. So if you notice that while I'm streaming, those are just people that are subscribing like while we're live. And it could be subscribing to another video or whatever, but it's just somebody that clicked that subscribe button. Her infinite wisdom.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Next time you get the chance, go to nimminvip.com. That is our members-only Facebook group. Fill out all the stuff on the way in. If you could do it right now, I can approve you like right now. If not, it won't be until Monday that I approve it. So if you can go in there right now, just go to nimminvip.com, and I'll actually I'll put that up here on the screen right now. Go there because you're a channel member. So just make sure you fill out all the information on the way in, and then I'll get you approved here before I log off today. Man, that's definitely with that. Yeah, that definitely brings attention to that thing down there in the bottom. Holy moly. Yeah, it looks better than the gray too. Nice. All right, got you in there, her infinite wisdom. Definitely, we get ready to close it down right here in a minute. We are now in the after party. That could be an incompatibility with another plugin that you're using. It could be that. Not sure why it would just be those two, though. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure. I would hit up support for both of them and see if they get back to you with a response about why that might happen. I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend and an awesome next week. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope that you enjoyed the stream today. Hope that you got some value out of the conversation today. And I will see you hopefully next week. Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern is when we'll be live streaming next week. And everybody have an awesome, again, rest of your weekend, and I will see you next time.